Yeah, so excited, and I'm very, very excited. I was really excited, and I'm excited.
You're listening to Raising the Bar with Mark, Luke, and Brendan on VenueEagles.com. Brought to you by Benedictine Athletics.
The hype is real, folks. The hype is real.
You're listening to Raising the Bar here on VenueEagles.com as a part of Benedictine Athletics. Luke Stanczyk here with Mark Rubel and Brendan Cadman. Good to be back. Guys raising the roof in here. I don't know what Brendan's dancing about, but good to be back. Hey, happy to see you guys. Happy to do the show again.
I'm just happy to be back on air.
Back on the airwaves?
Yeah, it's fun.
I'm just glad to be back at school.
Oh, yeah. So am I.
Well, my last semester, so
all of us, right?
No, I got one more after this.
Got the slacker over here with one more semester.
Yeah, I'm not as smart
Once the
as you
semester ends, I don't plan on seeing any of you guys for the rest of my life.
That's like one of the meanest things I've ever heard.
And Mark's
just giving you guys
Mark's
my two
already in
notice.
mid-semester form over here.
Oh, God.
But anyways, it's good to be back. We're going to be going from – this is our only Wednesday we're going to do. Then we're going to go back to doing
When
Mondays,
are we doing
2
it
to
on
4.
Monday?
Yeah.
Where or when?
Yeah, where?
We're going to be in here for the most – in here for the most part. We're in a class
No. I was being sarcastic.
Oh.
When?
2 to 4.
Okay.
Same time.
Because okay, yeah.
What, is that good?
No, we're good.
Okay, we're good?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so we're going to be going mostly Mondays, but with the start of the semester and everything, we decided to do it on Wednesday for this week.
Syllabus week.
Yeah, syllabus week. It's
Best week of the
Dropping in and out of classes week.
Yeah, I know. I already had to. I already had drop a class and had.
I love how
another
you
one. I already do that.
you dropped because you had to give a presentation at a seminar, and then like the next class.
I do say-
By the way, we're giving a presentation at a seminar. Oh, I'm just gonna quit school.
Yeah, but
That's probably why I have to. Cause
yeah,
Luke
but
was
the
in class.
presentation
Yeah.
and senior portfolio, we can do it on whatever we want. In this class, I had to do it on an Italian film.
I
That is
honestly,
English.
when I
don't
first,
think I would do very well at that. So
I thought it was gonna be in front of like professors and like a bunch of people, but he
This
said
is
it's
gonna be
only
for
like
students.
and
Yeah,
it's only gonna be like 20 or whatever.
yeah, and we
I'll
can
still
kind of.
probably throw up.
Well, we're doing ours together on.
Well, you're not.
I'll still probably throw up.
Why?
Okay.
Right, we're talking on the air now. So what's the difference?
Because there's a
then we can
there's
see
a total of no one in this room. So
Yeah.
No.
We
no,
don't.
I'm
We
kidding.
don't.
I
we
probably
don't count.
won't throw
But
up.
millions are listening worldwide. No,
No.
it's a bit of a. That's a bit of a.
They're listening to
sarcastic.
something worldwide, but it's not this.
Prestige.
Prestige.
Name that movie.
worldwide. Step Brothers.
We should make a movie like that and tank Brandon's car or something.
Tank my car.
Yeah, like they tank the boat.
They
They-
sink.
all
They
right.
sink it. I know they sink it. I don't know if they tanked
They
it.
destroy it.
Anyways, we're gonna have Mike Woolf on from Benue basketball.
And they put it in the tree.
little
Yeah.
later in the show. Hit a huge shot last night. Hit a big 3 with like 10 seconds left in the game.
It seems like that was going around a lot in college basketball
yeah,
last night.
it was. I heard about the tip in. I saw the highlight of that.
Tip in, that was a slam
Yeah.
dunk.
Tip
that was
dunk.
that
Tip
was
dunk.
amazing. It wasn't even a tip. It was.
I
just
got
bounce straight
I
away,
got out of
grabbed
my
it.
chair.
He's got. Did you see the length of his arms?
It caught me so fast that I really didn't know what to think.
I was watching it, and then Madden took the shot, and it like bounced up in the air. It's like,
Madden?
his name's Rashad Madden.
There's a John Madden.
No.
The guy's out there playing for Alabama.
And he was
Good
walking.
shot.
He
He's
ran
not-
down the arc court. You didn't know the guy made it. He ran down the
Well,
arc
okay, so James Young ties the game. It's what 75 or whatever. And Madden comes down and he just sits in the corner for like 8 seconds.
And he goes boom.
And he and he shoots a 3 and it bounces like 8 feet in the air. So I'm like, okay, we're going to double overtime. And all of a sudden
Guy
I
comes
hear
out of nowhere.
all of a sudden I just hear this loud like bang. I'm like, oh my god, he tipped it in. What the heck?
But we're gonna have Mike Woolf on. He's in class till 2:30. Then he's gonna go talk to a professor. But as soon as he gets over here, we'll have him on talk about yesterday's game and how the team's been this year and stuff. Mike, a frequent listener to the show, so we're gonna lose a listener for a day, I guess. We're gonna have him on, but he's always fun to talk to. And we have to make sure we ask him about
the Bulls too.
about Alex. Remember him and Alex? Alex said he could beat him in one-on-one. So we asked him what he thinks about that. So we're gonna talk to him. We'll have a Benue Sports update around that time as well. And before and after that, we'll talk sports, as we usually do, as Mark likes to say. So we'll
Talking sports.
I figured we'd talk some football to start. Let you know who won our picks and our fantasy.
I know I won fantasy.
If you want to know who's
Yeah.
being in the NFC Championship, just watch the commercial of Colin Kaepernick and you'll know.
Yeah, pretty much. So we'll talk about
What if
that.
they can't watch the commercial? What should they do?
because it's the bus of San Francisco going into Seattle.
Well, if they can watch,
They're
the
gonna
game,
get destroyed. They hate playing in Seattle.
I don't know. San Francisco's looking pretty good.
if they can watch the game, I'm pretty sure they can watch the commercial because the commercial's probably gonna be on about 50 times during the game.
Then you'll get the song in your head 50 times
Yeah,
a day.
but you'll also hear because we're gonna play it during break.
Those commercials are the most ridiculous things I've ever seen in my life. There's no, except for Philadelphia fans, there's probably nobody who ever does that.
That's
Yeah.
Steve
That's
Kerr was saying
insane.
that yesterday
It's
on
so
radio.
stupid.
Yeah, but
Garnett's perfect for that, though. Oh, man.
Oh yeah.
That's
Joakim Noah would be good for that too.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
If the Bulls were any good,
The only they'd have to be like Cleveland or Miami fans.
yeah.
Yeah.
Probably Cleveland. He
But
hates
there would
it.
be
Yeah.
no fans there.
That's true. So they can't do
Yeah,
that.
but I don't think a Cleveland-Chicago commercial would do very well.
Cleveland-
I don't
you-
know the way they're playing.
Chicago,
right now.
like you have Chicago, who's like, oh, hey, and then Cleveland, was like, oh.
If the Bulls were good, it'd be Bulls Indiana. That might work, but no.
Well, the Bulls aren't good. So.
Yeah, but so we're gonna get into that later.
It's a mute issue.
What are you talking about? They have Cartier Martin. How could you not be good with that guy? I didn't know Chief Keef was on the Chicago
We'll
basketball.
talk some football. We'll talk some
That's
basketball.
exactly like Chief Keef, actually.
Plays like Chief Keef, too.
We'll talk some football. Talk some basketball. Should we get into? Maybe we'll talk a little bit of baseball too.
Croquet.
Teams are doing. Talk some croquet. Talk some.
Teams are doing. They're not doing anything. It's off season.
We'll talk about the lack of what some teams are doing.
Like the Cubs.
Yeah.
No, the Cubs are doing stuff.
Yeah, they signed.
First time ever they
Chris
got a
Coughlin
mascot.
today.
No.
Cubs got a mascot.
Clark-
Oh
yeah.
yeah, the mascot.
The mascot who's
The
in
biggest
the news.
offseason, the biggest
I
signing.
forget we talked about that like right before we came on there.
Yeah. The mascot who's in the news for some.
Speaking
kind
of which,
weird
all right,
things.
did I tell you about what the guy on SportsCenter did with the Cubs mascot? Not the
No.
Not the
SportsCenter.
Deadspin
Yeah,
stuff,
the
yeah.
Deadspin, but the
I don't think we can really get into the Deadspin stuff.
yeah, well, this is different. This is different.
Text us and we'll get into it.
These two, I can't remember who the two anchors were on SportsCenter, but there's, you know how they make their little comments as they sign off, and like the thing
That's the
pop-
best part of sports.
Yeah, when it's over. And anyway,
for any newscast, or whatever.
but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
How they make those little comments. Well, the guy goes, oh, and the Cubs, they got a new mascot. His name's Clark. And then the second guy that's sitting to his left just goes, right before they sign up, goes, oh, maybe they should get new players instead. And then it just turns off. I'm like, what the heck? How are you just going to bash him like that, like to end the show?
That's awesome.
Do agree or disagree, though?
That's hilarious, though.
I have
Come
no
on.
idea.
If a guy said that about the Bulls, I'd laugh. Like that's really funny.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's very,
If it came from like a
funny.
bias, like non-East Coast bias.
Who's got a
Place would be funny.
Who's got a worse mascot though? The Sox with the green feathery
Oh,
guy.
Southpaw?
Oh, the Sox have a worse one. I totally.
It doesn't even make
But
sense.
the Cubs not a Cub. The Cubs is a chipmunk.
No,
It
he's a
looks like
baby
okay,
Cub.
It looks
But-
like Alvin the Chipmunk.
Well, what's closer, the Cubs mascot to a Cub or the White Sox mascot to a sock? Like, I don't know.
Do you guys have like a green monster running around in the
Yeah,
clubhouse or something?
It's a furry green guy named
Yeah.
Southpaw. Like he's a legit mascot.
it's for the
but-
kids.
Yeah, but I don't know what's it have to do with the White Sox.
It's for the kids.
What does
Try
that
to
have to do with
scare
the
'em.
White Sox?
What's the play on the field for? It's not for.
Huh? Well, no, Southpaw. 'Cause we have a lot of lefties.
It went over his
I
head.
was-
It's after Chris Sale.
I think it was my dad I was talking to. My dad's like, "What do you want them to have? Like a laundry basket of socks running
Yeah.
around?"
No,
that'd be pretty
They
funny.
should just have one giant sock running around. Honestly, I'd consider
No,
being a
man,
White
come
Sox
on.
fan. If they
No,
had
you don't.
if they
Come
had
on,
a
no.
giant sock running around on the top of the dugouts during the game, that'd be worth
and
going to
he's
see.
like throwing pairs of socks
yeah,
into
he's
the
just
stands.
chucking socks at people.
What
You
are you giving me a
approve?
thumbs up
Crank
for?
it.
Oh, you want me to crank it up
Yeah.
for you? Okay.
But
But-
I'm not giving you the thumbs up. I'm just telling you.
You
I
never
thought you
did,
told
so.
me we were doing a good job. But if you want to get involved with the show, you can text in. You can text any of us. You can text me.
You can text me now. I got 3G.
630-697-5356. That's 630-697-5356.
Marky Marks 224-388-1076.
Wait, so we're giving all our numbers now?
Yeah.
Might as
New
well.
year, new
New
policy.
year, new policy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I only have a couple months left, so I need to get my phone cranking. I haven't been getting texts lately, so I need someone to text me.
I will give my number just so they all go to you then.
But yeah, there you go.
All right, or you can tweet us.
Don't text Luke.
You can tweet us at RTB Radio Show. You can do that as well. So
Can I say one more thing about the Cubs mascot?
Go ahead.
Just
Go
I
right
have
ahead.
I have no
do you want to
idea.
start off with talking about this? We
Yeah,
can
that's
start
fine.
talking about the
That's
Cubs
fine.
mascot.
Because have you seen like all the backlash on like Twitter and
Oh,
everybody?
it's ridiculous. I think the Cubs are the only team that can get storylines of this from a mascot.
Yeah, I don't understand
it's-
why everybody's like hating
It's
on them.
it's
Yeah,
a
what's
little
wrong with it?
ridiculous.
I don't
He's
understand.
a
it
cute
at all.
little guy. I think like
It's something.
I
personally
now
think
might
it's
go to a Cubs
hilarious.
game just for him.
And-
I think it's hilarious.
I might go to a Cubs game just for that.
I think it's. I don't. You guys are a mascot. Big deal. Like, what other team would you?
If they were making stuff like this, like promotional things, without trying to make a better team for the future, because that's what they're doing. They're in the process. It's almost done. They have the prospects. Everything's ready to go, and now they're just promoting the team more. I don't understand why people
interact with kids.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
The world's very simple.
And I got to tell you, we're not going to get into Desmond stuff because we really can't. But I will say,
Yeah.
Desmond is. I really don't like them. I feel like they're just like a website that's out to get people. Like there's no like sort of like basis to it. It's just like, oh, let's embarrass these guys, or let's embarrass this guy, or embarrass
It can be
that
funny
guy.
sometimes if it's
Yeah, I
against
mean,
people I
some
don't
things
like.
are pretty funny, but it's just like a website that's out to get people. And they're making a big deal about it, the Cubs making a mascot. It's like there's like
I'm gonna check
28
it out.
other teams in baseball that have a mascot. Like,
Yeah.
what's the problem?
If the Yankees did it, I don't know if they have
Yeah.
a mascot.
They might be one of the ones that don't.
Yeah, if they did it, everybody would be like, "Oh, it's the greatest thing that ever happened to baseball."
But I will say the Cubs also responded to the
Yeah,
Desmond thing.
I think Theo said it was like despicable.
Yeah, I think that I don't think that was necessary. Like, what other team would you see respond to someone making fun of the mascot? Like, I don't know.
But, I mean-
I just think the whole thing is like really out of control, considering it's about a mascot. I think it's pretty stupid. But whatever. What were you gonna say, Mark?
I'm just gonna.
I heard you go yes when you were.
Oh, because I got text.
talking to
I
his
got text
imaginary friend
message, but I realized it was my brother.
Oh, is he listening?
I think so.
No.
If he heard me, yeah, probably. I'm just kidding. I'm trying to be smart with you.
But So, yeah.
Don't try to be smart. It doesn't suit you.
There he is. There's Clark.
Mark
Look
looking up.
him up on Deadspin.
But so we'll move on to talk.
He would look up
Yeah.
the Deadspin one.
We'll move on to talk about some football here. Pretty interesting playoffs so far. I know Mark doesn't agree.
Last week sucked.
Yeah, last week wasn't
sucked.
that
the
good.
first wild card week was amazing.
Last week was weird from I know Mark's dying over there looking at Desmond, but last week from
your child.
Yeah,
Your
you are.
child.
Well, is this you didn't know already?
There's why nobody listens because there's no credibility right now. Mark's over here on the internet surfing, looking at I have no idea what. Just laughing.
But,
This
Let-
poor
let's-
Clark. Oh man, he's got a rough go of it.
We'll move on now. The NFL playoffs. The one thing that was kind of funny about the weekend was just I feel like there were so much stupid things that happened.
What do you mean?
What was Colson doing?
That wasn't wild card. That was last week. Or is that what you said?
Yeah, divisional round. That was versus
Seattle.
yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea. I didn't see it until I thought the game was over, so I went to work out, and I came home, and my brother's like, Marcus Colson just did the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. First of all, you're on the 35. That's
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
reasonable.
I can understand if he did.
I think he thought there was. I don't think he thought there was.
Yeah,
any
I can.
time left.
Okay, I can understand that, but he tried to throw a lateral. He threw 10 yards upfield.
Yeah, it was dumb.
Maybe he's auditioning for a quarterback's position.
No, it was still a
He
terrible
knows
throw.
there's teams like the Bills and
Failed.
Raiders.
You failed. Audition over. Oh, it was awful.
Hey, he's still probably better than Dalton.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
very,
agree
very
with
good
that,
point.
Yeah.
At least it was close to his wide receiver.
Okay, so speaking of Dalton, Cincinnati lost. Didn't they lose their
Jay Gruden?
Jay Gruden and Mike Zimmer got
Zimmer,
hired by the Vikings today.
Where'd Jay Gruden end up again? I totally forgot.
Washington.
He was Washington?
Yeah.
You know
So-
that team's a joke. They really are.
I'm
The
actually
Bengals?
happy that they got him because he'll probably run a more pro style, and then we don't have to wait. Cowboys don't have to deal with the read option.
Yeah, I wonder if
I would not be shocked if he
Kirk
got rid of
Cousins,
RG3.
Yeah. Because Kirk Cousins fits the pro style real
Yeah.
well. I've always wanted the Bears to look at him a little bit, but
You're saddled in with Cutler for the next 7 years.
yeah, really. Well, 3. But
Before we get to the Bengals, what's your? You're probably gonna disagree with me again. What's your?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. What's your opinions on Russell Wilson?
I don't.
I think he's good.
Because I think he is.
I don't have anything against him. Like I don't. You know how I feel about RG3
Yeah.
and Kaepernick. I don't have anything against him. I just don't think he's
very good.
an elite quarterback.
I didn't say
He's
he's elite.
serviceable. He's
I think
serviceable,
he's
but
good.
everybody makes him out to be like he's.
I
an
think he's
amazing
a very.
quarterback.
I think he's a very, very smart quarterback.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the smartest quarterbacks in the game. He doesn't have the best arm. He doesn't have the best accuracy. But I think in terms of smarts, he's one of the smartest quarterbacks in football. And you're always going to be able to win
And
with
to
a
be
guy
granted,
like that.
to be fair too, he's not really throwing anybody. Percy Harvin
Yeah,
can't play
there's-
more than one play without
That's
getting hurt.
sad.
Golden,
I like
that's
Percy Harvin.
really sad.
Yeah.
Golden Tate is their best receiver. And on a team with good weapons, he's a number 3 receiver.
Yeah. But I mean, in the draft or free agency, they can if he got like a big time wide receiver.
Yeah.
I don't know, but right now I haven't seen anything to put him in.
Yeah.
He's an average quarterback right now.
Kellen Davis is on the field. Like that's how bad their weapons are in that team.
I'm
Kellen
not
Davis
making
is
a
on the
comparison
field.
to him to Rex Grossman, but I'm saying he's kind of in the same situation.
Well-
He's hang on. He's an average quarterback, but the defense is carrying him right now.
Grossman had a better
Oh, by
upside.
far.
I think Grossman had a better upside, but Grossman.
He couldn't take a
But
snap.
it's kind of opposite
So-
because Grossman was one of the dumbest quarterbacks I've ever seen. Wilson's one of the smartest
He had an
quarterbacks.
arm, Grossman, though.
Yeah,
no.
Grossman had an
He had
arm.
He was a runner-up for the Heisman at Florida.
Bear fans don't. Okay, like I can understand why Bear fans be mad at Grossman, but
Yeah.
people don't realize that he had some games where he was great. He had talent.
Yeah.
Like he had a
Where'd
great
they
arm.
finish, Grossman? In Florida.
He's still in Washington.
No,
where-
where'd Gators?
Did they win a championship
win
with
it?
Grossman?
No,
I know.
don't think so.
I know he was in the Heisman voting.
He was runner-up.
Tebow won a championship.
He was the runner-up.
Yeah, Tebow won two.
Tebow won two.
championships.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That was that
Two.
span where they won in football and basketball.
Chris
I know
Leak was the
Chris Leak,
quarterback
yeah.
when they won the first
And he went to
one.
camp with the Bears one year. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I think he's that's what he is. He's I have to look up the title, but it's something stupid. He's with Florida right now as a coach.
But back to Grossman. Another thing Grossman he was the best Bear quarterback that I've seen at selling play action. He was so good at that. I don't know how many times that year where they did they did a play action and then they hit Barry deep. Like it just fooled everyone and Bear was wide open deep and he made the perfect throw.
If
They
you're
did
like
four
if you're
times
on your 30 with like 3 seconds left and you need a Hail Mary quarterback, bring in Grossman.
Yeah.
The guy can chuck it.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
But yeah, Bear fans don't realize that about him. But I wouldn't. Like I get what you're saying with the comparison to him to Russell Wilson, but I think they're two different types of quarterbacks.
Well, even look at this. Who was Grossman throwing to?
Well, Muhammad and Barry weren't bad at that point. At that time, Barry was a good receiver. That was when he was in his prime.
I always loved Muhammad.
And Muhammad was on the downside of his career, but he was still a 60, 70 catch a year guy. And Desmond Clark was a top 12 tight end. So I mean, he had better weapons than Russell Wilson had. I think that group of weapons was better. Because the Bears' offense that year was middle of the road. Like people had like the offense was bad. It was middle of the road. They just turned the ball over a lot.
Mm-hmm.
How was their defense though that year?
The Bears' defense?
Yeah.
Oh, they were top.
Better than
top 2 or 3.
Seattle?
I don't know.
Because Seattle's defense.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know if it's maybe that game that I just overrate them, but
Seattle's secondary,
they are-
although they're cheaters, Seattle's secondary is better than the Bears' secondary was that year. And I love Tillman, and you know that.
their secondary didn't even do amazing yet. It was creating pressure on the quarterback in the game versus who did they play?
Saints.
Saints, yeah.
Yeah, Drew Brees looked like he never threw a football for the first half.
I mean,
He's
it was
one of the
basically
best.
a monsoon. So
Yeah.
let's give him some credit.
No,
I
but
mean,
he
I'm gonna look up Wilson stats.
He
for the
made
game
3 or 4
'cause-
passes. I'm like, what is going on? I texted Mark. I'm like, you're better than Bernie Bush, and he was.
That team, and that could if they get by San Francisco, that's gonna help them in New York, I think.
I made the comment
Teams get so scared when they play there. It's just,
when I was watching the Colts and Patriots. I want to see Patriots Seahawks Super Bowl because that's like a battle of complete opposites.
Yeah.
That'd be such a great game. I
that's
think.
another guy. I know he's shown flashes where he could be top 5, but Andrew Luck, I'm not really. I mean,
Is he
turns the ball
smart
over.
or is he smart or dumb?
I don't know.
Because
He turns the
some of
ball
these
over so
throws
much.
are
Yeah.
amazing, and then he makes great decisions, and then he just throws some of the stupidest passes I've ever seen.
He played for
Yeah.
one half versus the Chiefs where he looked like he was probably one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league, and then he played a half versus the Patriots where he looked like he couldn't even make.
See, that's where
team
I
with us.
think it's like not far fetched to think the Bears can win with Cutler because after your 4 top guys in the NFL, which is
They can win with
this-
Cutler.
with
They
this-
need defense.
with his Rodgers,
And that's so
yeah.
Chicago that if they finally we've
Yeah.
been defense all these years, we got an offense. Oh, we don't have a defense
Yeah.
anymore.
But after Rodgers, Brady, Breeze, and who's got I'm forgetting? Manning, yeah, of course.
Eli.
After those 4,
Omaha.
okay. After those,
Eli Manning. Not
how
Peyton.
big is the gap between like Luck and Cutler? Like it's not much. Like it really isn't. I don't. At least at this point. So that's why I don't think it's far fetched to think the Bears can win a Super Bowl with him as long as they have a defense.
I want to see how he'll play in it.
Luck's threw 6 interceptions.
I want to see how he'll play in a game like that. I mean, he's got all the skills-wise.
Yeah.
Like, the gap in skill-wise isn't far off, but, I mean, first of all, he's got to beat the Packers.
Yeah.
That's your first
Well, I
step
mean, the
before
thing
you
with
go to
Luck
playoffs.
and Cutler is Cutler's topped out at his ability.
Yeah, he's in his prime now.
Luck is still developing as a
You
quarterback.
see flashes of it. It's just, like you said, the throws he makes, it's like, what are you doing? Did you not see
That
the
first
color
drive,
in
the
you?
first drive of
Yeah. He'd fit good for the Bengals.
yeah,
He fits in what Dalton does.
Dalton. My God,
He's
what a joke.
How bad is he?
I'm
He's
pretty
not
surprised.
bad. He's just not as good as everybody thought.
I'm pretty surprised. I thought
He's
he was going to be.
horrible.
I thought he was going to be good when he came out. I thought he was going to be the best quarterback in that class. Now, obviously, it's Cam.
And his best throw,
But-
he had, one of the best wide receivers drops it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's probably not used to the ball coming to him. He's
Yeah.
probably used to going back on defense.
Yeah, I think A.J. Green. I still, even though he had kind of an off year drop wise, I still think Calvin's the best receiver. I think A.J.
Josh Gordon.
I think A.J. Green's number 2.
Josh Gordon's gonna be the best. He's 22 years old right now.
Right now, I'd probably put him 3rd.
Who would okay? Give me your top 5 wide receivers.
Well, Calvin, A.J. and Gordon, and after that, Dez is up there. Marshall's in the conversation. When he's out in the field, Andre Johnson's in the conversation. I think I'll go with Dez and Marshall. I got to be forgetting someone though.
I think Antonio Brown's up there.
One of the wide receivers from Atlanta.
Oh, Julio. Ooh.
Julio's
I'll
good.
go Julio and then Dez. And then 6 I'll go Marshall.
Deshaun Jackson stepped it up this year.
7 I'll go Alshon. See, I would take Alshon. I'm a little biased, but I would take Alshon over Antonio Brown and Deshaun, just because I think the taller, more physical, kind of go up and get it receivers are more valuable than speed guys.
Well,
I just think those guys are better.
If he keeps it up next year, I know it's 1 year, like Brandon said, but if he keeps that up, he's more than just a speed guy, because that's all. When you saw him, it's just like, okay, he's going to go down the field and run as fast as he can.
Who, Deshaun?
Yeah. But if he plays like this...
he's perfect for that system.
Yeah,
that's a match
that.
made in heaven for him. Him and Shady, that's a perfect match. Foles, not so much, but Foles played fantastic in the system, so he's going to be the guy there next year, whether you like it or not over there, Mark. But I think Vic's going to end up somewhere.
Can we make a bet right now? Over under 50 Alshon Jeffrey reverses next year?
Oh, under. But I tell you what.
He runs him like twice a week.
Yeah, but you know what? It stopped working. Like when they handed it off to him, it stopped working toward the end of the year. But they ran so many fake reverses at the end of the year that opened up something else. Like it was that play worked out fantastic. And that shows you that Trestman's such an innovator, because I don't know how many times they tried to run a reverse in the past and it did nothing. Like it just died.
My brother's going to say this too. Allen from San Diego.
Keenan Allen's good.
He's good. He's opened some eyes in his first year.
Yeah, and he was the 8th receiver picked in the draft.
I think so.
Yeah.
And I don't watch college football much, but from the very little of bowl games I watched, Watkins looks like he's going to be pretty good.
He's projected to go top 5.
Yeah, Sammy Watkins. That guy's got some speed.
Brendan was very impressed over there.
I don't know if it's just a college thing or...
I never he made great plays from time to time, but I never see him. Ohio State was actually probably a complete game. I never seen him have like a game where he just takes over a wide receiver like Calvin Johnson, just throw up the ball and he'll go and get it.
I think Calvin Johnson by far is the best. Like,
I would say by far, but I think he's the best.
Yeah, I think
he's
starting to break down though.
He dropped a lot of passes this year. And he was hurt a lot this year too.
And last year, he was hurt last year too.
If you want to text in, you can text me at 630-697-5356.
Marky Mark 224-388-1076.
Or you can tweet in at RTV Radio Show. No one chimed in for me over here yet. I don't know about you.
I even sent my number your way too. I gave it my air time for my number so you could get double the text. Anything? Yeah, that's sad.
Nothing yet. But yeah, Pat, talking about this receiver thing. Where would you rank your buddy Dez?
Top 5. I go 1 is obviously Calvin. 2.
A lot of where you rank it though depends on the quarterback they play with. I feel like with receivers,
I might put Marshall number 2 to be honest.
Really?
Just because he, like I said, he can take over a game.
Yeah.
I mean, I think against when he was in Denver still, he had like a game where he had 21 catches or something like that.
It's NFL record.
Yeah.
It's the NFL record. Yeah.
Not Donnie Avery.
Yeah, your boy Donnie Avery. You love you some Donnie Avery.
Cecil Shorts.
He's a guy. If he had a better quarterback, he'd be.
There's so many
better.
wide receivers. I
Cordell
just be able to
Yeah.
rattle this off. But
Demarius is up there.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could
I
just
feel like
Welker. You could just keep going on and on.
Yeah. If you play in Denver, you're automatically in the top 5.
Yeah, that's all they do.
Nah, I think running backs top 5's a lot easier.
Oh yeah,
I
because
have mine in my
running
head right
backs
now.
actually have to do
Yeah.
it's more of them doing work than wide receivers.
I would go
Because Jordy Nelson,
Yeah.
if he was on, say, the Bengals, I can see him.
like imagine what with Marshall and
Any
Alshon.
wide receiver on the Bengals is going to struggle because of Andy Dalton.
yeah, that's why I think the wide receivers are kind of like rankings for that. It's really hard. to
Imagine
do.
Marshall and Alshon on Green Bay with Rodgers.
Yeah,
They'd be like
That'd
unstoppable.
That'd be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. But running backs, I would definitely go.
even Jack Gordon. Put Gordon on the
Yeah.
Packers.
I'd go Peterson, Peterson, McCoy, Charles, Lynch, Forte. That'd be my top 5.
It kind of changes year by year, though.
Yeah, but after the end of this season, what I would rank, that'd be my top 5.
If you gave me one,
Lacey's close. He's up there.
Also, Marshawn Lynch, he kind of struggled towards the end of the year,
He
though.
did. He only had 300-yard games all year.
I think he was hurting though.
I would still
Think so?
put.
He was hurting. He was a little
Hurting for Skittles?
He carries Seattle's offense.
And
I would
defense.
still put him above Forte just because I think Lynch is a better pure runner. Forte does the other things better.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
If we, I
In terms of like
you're
people
gonna go
people bouncing off of him and stuff, him breaking tackles, him getting to the second
Breaking
level.
tackles, obviously.
Yeah.
But
you're gonna go
Him
off
getting
on
to the
this
second,
one.
him being able to get to the second level, I think Lynch is better.
If I had one game to give one quarterback or running back,
okay, but hang on. Who do you want in the open field?
Forte.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
if I had one,
And in the passing game, Forte.
Yeah, and in the blocking game,
I mean,
Yeah.
so
it's close, but I would put Lynch over him by a little bit. But Forte is 5th.
I'd put
him
Lynch
fifth.
number 1.
that's a joke.
If I had to
Yeah.
win one game, I'd say Lynch.
So if you all right,
over
you're
a season,
If
you're
you
at the,
would
you're at the
would not
one-
pick
it's fourth
Adrian
and goal.
Peterson.
It's 4th and goal at the 1 yard line, and Super Bowl's on the line. You
I'll
have,
go
you
Lynch.
have to run the ball. You're taking Marshawn Lynch.
yeah.
over Adrian.
Unless,
Peterson.
Over Adrian
unless
Peterson.
Jerome Bettis is it? No. Well, I think Peterson's a better. I think Lynch is better pound like in the grind running back.
He's played on Minnesota for his whole career. All that people have done is stack 8 in the box because you have Christian Ponder throwing the
I
ball.
understand that, but for over a season, I never known that guy's gonna be held. That guy's been hurt a lot.
Because that's all they have. Well,
Yeah, I
actually, not
understand-
even because
I
they don't actually
understand
run the
that.
ball that much as they should in Minnesota.
yeah.
Except they will now with Zimmer, and I think they're looking at North Turner. My friend said for offensive
Who's
coordinator.
never been a bad coordinator. He's
No.
he's bad head coach, but he's never a bad.
It wasn't even that
coordinator.
bad with San
You
Diego.
know who I wouldn't mind going there?
Towards the
Vic?
end he was.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind Michael Vick going to Minnesota.
Yeah,
I
but
think
they're
the mock
gonna
draft had
they're
Teddy
drafting
Bridgewater in
they're
Minnesota.
drafting a quarterback.
So
Yeah.
sign Vick and draft a quarterback and just
They'll
ride,
probably
ride
roll,
Vick's
they'll
juice
probably
before he gets-
they'll roll
Vikings
with
might be kind of dangerous.
they'll roll with the quarterback and Ponder. That's who they'll roll with. They're not going to sign Vic. I don't think they'll be in the running for him.
Top 2 divisions in football next year will be number 1 NFC West
But if they
Oh,
draft
yeah.
if they draft
and
when do the Vikings pick?
8.
Oh, Manziel will be gone.
NFC North is going to be really good next year because I think Minnesota might step up a little bit
Yeah, Minnesota might step up.
if they finally get a quarterback.
You figure the Bears are going to be better because
Yeah.
you can't get worse on defense.
Figure Lions are gonna be a little bit better just because they got rid of their coach.
Yeah,
I actually like the Jim Caldwell hire.
Yeah,
That's
me too.
Anyone's
bad.
better than the one guy they had.
Yeah.
You could have been better than the guy they had.
Did you hear they wanted Wisenhunt really bad, who ended up going to Tennessee?
Mhm.
And Wisenhunt told the Lions he wanted to run a 3-4. Why would you run a 3-4 with their personnel?
Yeah.
You got two of the best defensive tackles in the league. You're going to sit one of them every play. That was really stupid. I guess the Lions like, okay, take a hike. Like we don't want you then. If you're going to switch to a 3-4.
Yeah, play to your players.
Yeah.
Do you think Schwartz will get picked up by anybody, even as like a coordinator? Or
I think
assistant?
maybe he'll coordinate somewhere, but he's not going to.
It's hard to sign that guy.
I don't think he's going to head coach again.
Could you
That's
imagine
such a
him-
negative PR move if you do that.
Yeah.
Could you imagine him like coaching a college team, like how unresponsive their team would be?
Yeah, but see,
I
college
see him
coaches
coaching
are
Ohio State.
like big time college coaches, so that works sometimes. Like
But not
Shiano
to
was
the-
a great
not to
college
the-
coach.
Not to
He's
the
an
level
idiot.
he does that. Even Shiano
Guy-
has
guy-
some sense.
guy chucks his-
Schwartz is just a moron.
He chucks his headphone. If every time I talked, I chucked my headphone, it'd be really annoying.
Yeah.
I
That's
don't-
basically what he does.
I don't think Tim Caldwell would be too happy to ruin the equipment. Chuck the headphone across the room. Okay, but yeah, I don't think he'll end up being a head coach ever again.
You know what else is really annoying from last weekend? And the Panthers definitely had enough talent to beat the 49ers.
They didn't have enough experience.
Yeah, I think that's
They didn't
a
have
big
enough
reason.
brains. Every game,
They were
every
geeked
down.
up.
It
They
was
were
it was
geeked
like
up at the start of that game. They were throwing
every down though.
punches.
It was,
awesome.
it was a cat fit. That's all he did.
And like Brendan likes to call me old-fashioned. Exactly. Where did all of that get him? It got him a 13-point
But
loss.
that's just being stupid. There's crossing it. Like if they did it like even once every
like
possession.
the Seahawks do, and they're not stupid. I agree. Like the
No,
Seahawks,
they're
are
they
really,
don't-
they're
they don't-
really
they don't want
stupid.
to-
I
they don't
can't
want to
stand
stop.
Richard
I
Sherman.
can't
He's-
stand it. No, I can't stand it. But they don't like do it stupidly where they're gonna get flagged for it. You know
No,
what
they
I mean?
just take steroids and Adderall and
Yeah.
all the other kind of things. you
That's
take.
another thing I want to get into. I've talked to Mark about this a billion times now. Why is that not a bigger deal? Did you have a team
Just
where
for some reason everybody loves Seattle.
yeah,
It's not
you have a
baseball.
team. You have a team
That's true,
where
too.
Bud Selig's not there.
the
They
best,
really
the
should- they should
defensive
have what
player
they
of
do
the
in-
year.
They should have drug testing like MLB. It would
Yeah.
be ridiculous.
Yeah.
It'd be like
it helps.
Keanu Reeves would have to play quarterback for somebody because
It helps 'cause-
everybody would just get suspended.
It helps because
Ronnie Bass out to play quarterback.
It's a
Ronnie
quicker-
Bass,
it's a
y'all,
quicker response.
quarterback.
All those guys are jacked in football. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
it helps the quick responding
still,
from week to week.
you
But
have a team
those
where
guys are jacked. Let's
Yeah.
be honest. Every one of those
the
guys.
team's top 3 cornerbacks have been caught taking banned substances.
Yeah, but even if
And
they,
the team's best pass rusher.
he
Well, one of
could,
the top pass
he could
rushers.
take steroids and Brandon Marshall would still own Sherman.
You think
Look how skinny he is. Brandon Marshall could take him in one hand and just go up and catch the
Sherman's
ball.
defensive player of the year?
He could take Flintstone
Deservingly so,
vitamins.
too.
Well, I mean, they're
Like-
gonna be good. I mean,
But, like, how do people, like, why is
Like,
it
it's
not
all
a bigger
about technique.
deal with
I
the
feel like the NFL just kind of swept it on the rug
yeah,
because
I
they
don't feel it's a big
suspended
deal.
Browner for a year.
Yeah.
But
But, like, what if
it doesn't make sense that nobody's talking about it.
I just think when I hear things like that, I always think of like, what if that happened to the Bears? If like the Bears,
If it happened to Chicago,
yeah, it'd be the biggest story in the world.
the media
Yeah.
would tear them apart.
Yeah, it'd be the biggest story in the world. But it's like in Seattle, so nobody cares. Oh, it's cute. Everyone loves the team.
No,
I
whatever
don't
they're doing up
understand.
there is fine.
Yeah.
Just leave them alone.
They got their 12th man.
I tell you what, though, that crowd.
That's very legit.
Yeah, I tell you, like the Saints, they were like scared for the first half. I've never the punt.
Kaepernick better wear his beats.
The guy, the punter, like he can't catch the punt. It nails him in a not so comfortable area.
You know who the Bears
Who-
traded
and then,
for?
and then he
Speaking
picks
of-
up and punts it 10 yards.
Speaking of being scared, is it Mike McCoy, the coach for the Chargers?
Yeah.
You throw 4 passes in the first half against Denver.
Well, they have Ryan Matthews.
They gave Danny Woodhead like 10 carries.
I hate that guy. Don't even start with him.
D3 player, I like him.
They finally start throwing the ball in
He
the
looks
fourth
like a
quarter,
D3
and look what
player.
Rivers does. He throws like 140 yards in the fourth quarter
Yeah.
and 2
That's
touchdowns.
stupid.
And they can't defend a pass. And Champ Bailey's not healthy, right?
Yeah,
He's playing
I
him, but he's not healthy.
And here's Chris Harris.
And they lost a defensive back for the year, for probably part of next year.
Great job getting the team in the playoffs. He should be fired for what he did in that game. 4 passes in the first half.
Come on, though. That
I
team
would say
should have been in the
fired.
playoffs.
That's
I-
ridiculous.
They
Don't you
should have
remember
been
I
in
said they're going to
playoffs.
be the last team to win a game on the show?
The Chargers.
Yeah.
I
I
was
was
almost had it.
Yeah.
The Steelers should have had it.
Yeah, well,
Because
they're not quite 12
the
wins.
Chiefs, I guess. Did you hear about that guy who
Yeah.
got sued?
The guy
Yeah.
in prison is trying to sue.
Yeah, he got sued because he thought
He tried to sue the NFL.
Yeah. I
Because
thought he did sue him.
He tried to get an injunction to stop the playoffs. So,
Yeah.
something
What if that happened? That'd be so legit.
that actually would be pretty awesome.
If they had to re-kick the field goal and the Chargers didn't make the playoffs and the Steelers made it,
That'd be sweet.
it'd be so. And I'd love it because everyone picked like them to get 4
and the
wins.
Chiefs
like,
practically tried to lose that game too.
yeah, I hate when
Yeah.
teams do that.
I remember the Bears did
They
that.
came back and bit them. Or not even really. They just a monumental collapse.
I remember in 05 the Bears did that. They had the Division 1 and they sat everybody last week. They sat like Grossman, Urlacher, Briggs, and they got destroyed by Minnesota, who won like 5 games.
Do you think it should be a rule that you can't do that?
I don't know.
Because it's unfair that
I
you don't
think
get
that
the
they
best
should-
teams in the playoffs.
I definitely think that if a coach doesn't want to play him the whole game, he doesn't have to. Like, you
No,
know,
the NFL is hard enough as it is.
yeah. Like, okay, because if you have everything locked up, and then your quarterback is hurt in the fourth quarter of a game, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Like, that's ridiculous.
I just want to
So-
see the Steelers in there.
Somebody should tell that to Billy Donovan. You see what he does? They had all 5 starters in with like last night. They're up 27 points with
probably
like
friends
4
with,
minutes
he's
left.
probably friends with Thibodeau.
Yeah, Thibodeau probably gets along with Thibodeau very well.
He's a legit coach. I'd put him up above Krzyzewski too.
Thibodeau?
Yeah. No, not Thibodeau.
Oh,
Billy
Donovan and I can't even think. What's his name?
From Kentucky.
No, my God, no.
Izzo.
Yeah, Izzo and them I think are better than. Did you see Krzyzewski's press conference when they lost to Virginia?
He gets
See
so
here-
sad.
He
See-
laughed the whole time.
He gets so sad though.
He
I don't-
he
Just wait,
laughed
he
and he was
just-
gonna
he's
cry. He's like Virginia.
here's
They're
the
a good
thing.
team.
I
They're a
don't
really good. I was like, oh really? Virginia's a really good team.
I don't care about what a coach says in a press conference, though. I care about what the team does. on
Well,
the
if that team's losing to almost Virginia, if they almost lose, that team should be blowing Virginia out of the water. If he's giving credit to Jabari, you know,
Duke's not that good.
yeah,
They're-
people want to
they're
tank for
not that
Jabari.
good.
I don't want to tank for Jabari. He can't ever. He can't.
Well, Jabari might stay. I was talking to Coach Jones about that because he had after the Notre Dame game when they lost to Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's a joke.
I saw Coach Jones here. He's a big Duke fan. I'm like, well, Jabari didn't show up. He's like, good. I hope he doesn't show up a couple more times so he stays for another year. That's what he said.
Yeah, but
Like a point.
if you're being talked about as number one, you can't do that.
Is it Arizona's been number one for a while now, right? It's been a couple
Arizona's
weeks.
been number one. Yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty solid. Arizona.
We're going to transition into college hoops.
That's
Before we do that, what predictions for the conference championship and the Super Bowl?
And Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Give me Seattle over San Francisco. Are we doing a score? Or just pick?
Yeah, we'll do scores. I mean, I'm not going to write them down, but
17-16, low scoring
I
game.
think 23-20 Seattle in an overtime field goal.
Go San Francisco. Be different.
I think it's going to be a
different.
great game.
I just the thing about Kaepernick. I know you don't like Kaepernick. You said
No.
he does a great. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks at blocking out what people say.
Yeah.
I mean, look at how many times
Really,
he's
he kind
beat
of
the backers.
he takes to social media all the time to
Well,
respond.
I mean, not like that. I mean, like going out and performing.
It fuels him.
How many people
yeah.
said he was a complete bust? He's done nothing but beat the Packers in Lambeau in the playoffs. He's won to Carolina, who's got one of the best top 5 defenses.
I don't
Whether
like
they're stupid or not, he beat them.
You know me. I don't like when people like as Marcus says, chirp.
Yeah.
But I loved when he did the thing with Cam Newton.
Oh,
the
man, that
Superman.
was awesome.
I like that a lot.
That was awesome.
That was
I hated
awesome.
that. I hated that.
Just because it was Cam Newton, it was
Just
awesome.
it's Cam Newton, and
Yeah.
I don't like Cam Newton.
When
that was
he
cool.
put the towel over his head and just sat there and probably cried. But I wouldn't be surprised if he went in there. Seattle. I'm gonna take Seattle just because I've been on Seattle the whole time, and their defense is gonna carry. I think playing at home, I think is what's gonna do it.
Michael
so I'll
Bennett.
go 24-21.
Michael Bennett, he's
Seattle.
gonna be a Bear next year. Book it. He's coming to play with his brother.
Or Martellus
Okay.
is going to be a Seahawk.
That's not happening.
Book it.
Hey, well, they
I'll
can
go
use their tight ends,
24-21.
Kellen Davis, so they can.
24-21 Seattle. I'll go.
What about AFC?
I'll go 42-38 Denver.
I'll go 38, 24 Denver. I think Denver's gonna win pretty handily.
34-24 Denver.
See, I think it's gonna be kind of like
Brady's gonna wear his Uggs.
Yeah, give me Patriots. I don't want
See-
to break the monotony here.
Patriots. Like, I get that they run the ball a lot better, but I feel like they fall in love with that too much and they forget they have Tom Brady at quarterback.
Their defense
And if
is
they do
not
that
bad,
against
though.
Denver, like San Diego did, where they forgot they had Rivers at quarterback, that's not gonna work.
Yeah, especially because they got Chris Harris out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta take advantage of that.
But Belichick's a smart coach, obviously.
Yeah.
So
Well, they didn't throw
He's
Tom
probably
Brady.
watching film right now as they got it, so
Just
they probably know all the plays.
just like Seattle's probably shooting up in the locker room.
Yeah.
Right now. So what do you guys got for Super Bowl? I had Denver over Seattle.
Yeah, Denver over Seattle.
Yeah.
Their offense won't
You
be
just
able
said
to
New
keep up.
England.
Oh yeah. So, I mean, the
He's
monotony
got New England winning, and then he got Denver winning.
No.
Hey, Mark, are the Dodgers going to play the Nationals?
Just
in the
say
World
Denver.
Series?
It's the same. It's just Denver's
Or
gonna win.
as Mark
Don't pick New England. Just
Or
to
as
be different.
Mark told his mom, the Bobcats going to
Fine,
play
I'll,
the
I'll stick with my original. Give me.
You know Denver's gonna win.
I know, but I don't. I mean,
They gotta be on TV for Super Bowl.
Yeah,
they were on it
exactly.
every week, so
They
they
were
gotta be
on
on
every
the Super Bowl. You know they'll be on the Super
So
Bowl.
instead of the Pro Bowl, they're just going to air like a random Broncos
It'll
game
be a
from during the
Broncos or
year.
highlights or something. It's like Peyton Manning's best highlights. Omaha. I'm gonna go Seattle. I'm gonna go different.
It's
from you
not
guys.
Bobcats and Rangers in the Super Bowl.
No,
like-
that's so
yeah,
funny.
Yeah,
No, I said
Mark told us- Mark
Bobcats
told
and
us-
Redskins.
Martel's mom's going to be the Bobcats against the Redskins in the Super Bowl, and she believed him. It was very
She's like,
funny.
Luke, is it gonna be Bobcats and Redskins, and who's gonna win? Luke's like, well, it's probably not gonna be Bobcats and Redskins because they don't play.
Well, like the Redskins aren't in the playoffs, and Bobcats play basketball, so it's not good.
I'm gonna go Seahawks though. Seahawks and Sherman's gonna keep chirping the Super Bowl. He's gonna get his chirp, and I'm gonna love it. Marshawn Lynch's gonna dump Skittles all over
They're
him.
so different on the road, and them having to go to New York for Super Bowl,
That fits them though, like cold weather.
see the weather fits them, but the whole travel thing doesn't.
Yeah. Pete Carroll time.
I don't know.
Time to shine.
I think they have a better chance. I think they're going to lose to both Denver or New England, but I think they have a better chance of beating Denver than beating New England.
Yeah.
I think if it's New England versus Seattle in the Super Bowl in New York in the snow, forget it. I think definitely New England's going to win that game. It'd be kind of remarkable if New England won too, because they're not as strong as they've been in the past.
New England, no. I don't want to see them win.
yeah, everybody keeps saying that. Yeah, they're playing to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I know it's crazy. It's
Well,
crazy.
they're all. It's default. They're there. It's like before.
I
season
wouldn't say it's
starts.
default. I mean, there's some pretty good teams in the AFC. I mean, Denver, obviously.
That's like the only challenge
Yeah.
though. Denver and the Steelers occasionally. Is the Steelers or Ravens, whoever knocks each other out.
Yeah.
If you want to chime into the show, you can text in at 630-697-5356.
How ridiculous is the Ravens' end of the season?
Marky Mark's numbers 224-388-1076.
Or you can tweet in at RTB Radio Show.
What did you say?
How ridiculous was the ending of the Ravens' season? I think they needed to win like once to get in the playoffs.
I
and they
thought
couldn't do it.
I thought after
The
they
Dolphins.
beat the Lions,
The
they were
Dolphins
getting
was
in.
worse. The Dolphins
Yeah.
could have clinched every week since like week 10. and they
That's
blew it.
ridiculous.
Yeah, but are you surprised?
They lost to some terrible teams too.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
It's the Dolphins. I'm not surprised.
I wish the Steelers.
I'm
would
surprised
still, Steelers
with
would
the-
still be in if they made it.
You think?
Yeah.
No, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe because they were on a roll and they were
would
starting to play
they
some
would
really
definitely
good football.
beat the Bengals.
Yeah.
They
I don't know.
who'd they play after Denver? They could have put up a fight with Denver because Roethlisberger were throwing the ball.
Yeah, but no, they were going to beat Denver. They were going to beat Denver.
You know, I mean, look at the Chargers came in with a touchdown.
Yeah, but I don't know. I
With
think
Chris
that-
Harris out. You never say never.
I think the even though I was
Hashtag
really down on them earlier in the year, I think the Chargers are better than the Steelers this year. Especially because they actually have a running game. I know Le'Veon Bell's not bad, but their running game is
he's really good actually.
yeah, but he's not as good as Ryan Matthews. At least this year.
I think he's better. Yeah,
way
he
better.
isn't as good. He's
If you look
better.
if you look at the numbers, I don't think it was even close. I know Bell missed some games, but I don't think it was even close.
he missed first 5 weeks, was it?
Yeah, but I'm just at, if you look at average, average, I want to say I could be wrong. I don't know.
I'll go from the start. I'll go from week 5 on.
Yeah.
Or week 6, whatever.
Yeah.
Whenever his first.
I
game
could be wrong, but that's just what thinking off the top of my head. I would think that Matthews had way better numbers.
See, that's the thing with me. Numbers don't. Over the years, I've come
But
to
just
the
like
conclusion that
they
numbers
were a
aren't-
more effective running team this year. Is the point? The
Who?
Chargers than the Steelers.
at the beginning, yeah. But once the Steelers line
Towards the end,
figured
the
out-
Chargers, I think it was average 170 yards a game.
Especially at
running.
the end of the year, they were running the ball really well. Yeah,
Who?
the Chargers, and that's part of the reason why they fell in love with the run against Denver, which they probably shouldn't have done in the first place. But,
If it's broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, really.
They won 5 in a row, so.
yeah, after we'll have Brendan chime in when he looks this up. But college hoops, you guys want to get into that? So Mark's thing.
I love it.
Uh,
Nothing better than college
Something I'm
hoops.
really not into, but I kind of always get into that more as the year goes on. So I'm sure my term
It's something that should be a part of everyone's life.
Okay.
I feel like March Selection Sunday should be a national holiday.
Which I'm allowed to come over this year for that for the first time ever.
Mhm.
I've been told, so I'm excited.
Just got to deal with me screaming at the TV
Yeah.
for no apparent reason.
Yeah, that's
so.
well, I'm used to that anyway. You
Yeah.
scream at the TV for no apparent reason every day. I'll never forget your video you sent me. You were yelling at the TV when the Bulls drafted Tony Snell,
Yeah, I didn't want anyone from New Mexico.
and now you love the guy. So
Yeah.
go figure. But
he
so
looks like Avatar.
Arizona top team. Agree? Disagree?
I see.
There's no truly dominant team.
Yeah.
It's been like the last
The polls are just
couple
something
years.
for us to look at and like poke around teams' names.
Yeah.
And, like Wichita State being 5, yeah, haha, hee hee. That's funny. It's a joke that they're 5 because if they played Kansas, they'd probably get destroyed.
Yeah, they haven't played any. I was looking. They haven't played any.
Wisconsin number 3 is a complete joke. I played 3 of their starters, and I don't think they're a number 3 team in college basketball.
People can improve.
Yeah, but I don't think they're a number 3 team. I mean, they're a good team. They play defense and they play ugly basketball type I hate.
Big Ten.
Yeah, Big Ten's not gonna go anywhere in the tournament. But
Hey,
unless Michigan's unless Sparty, Sparty's
they're always going somewhere in the
Yeah.
tournament.
I'm really high on Villanova though. Right here, the rankings, the 6 and 7, Florida and Villanova. One of those teams would be in the Final Four, if not both of them.
You think?
Yeah, I would go to Vegas right now and put money on both of those
Go.
teams going Florida. I pay for my ticket.
No, it's not happening.
I'm not gonna go.
But so with Arizona though, Aaron Gordon's their big guy, right?
Yeah,
I keep hearing about him going like he's supposed to go around where the Bulls going to pick.
Let me get this over
probably
with.
a big-
Matthews averaged in 13 games 86 yards, and Bell was 66.
Yeah, I thought it was something like that.
Matthews
But
had a
also, you
better
have to think
year.
about how much the Chargers ran it at the end
and
of the
how
season.
much Pittsburgh throws
Yeah,
too. So
yeah.
true. But yeah, I keep. hearing
But Bell
about
had 2
Aaron-
more touchdowns, so I mean, they're both good, I guess.
Yeah.
Matthews is injured.
I mean, I would take either one, but
I'd take Bell, I think.
I keep hearing about Aaron Gordon going around where the Bulls are going to pick.
That'd be good. I'd
that
be
range.
happy with that. I haven't seen Arizona much though.
Yeah, I'm going to look at the rankings, and I'll give you my Final 4.
Well, I know you guys are all over.
See, I
Yeah, you know, I
you
know
already know one for me.
IFPW is going to. Like,
IFPW, Final Four
got
bound,
it.
they're,
baby.
they're
Okay.
gonna get 15 over 2
this
seed.
is
That's
getting
the
a little
team.
ridiculous.
That's the team.
Yeah.
This is getting really ridiculous. Mark messaged him to me like 3 days ago, and I'm like, okay, whatever. I go on Facebook. You put this like long status on Facebook about how IFPW is gonna like
Yes.
make the Elite Eight.
I mentioned them to him.
and then today that was how many
That
days ago was that? Was that
it
yesterday?
I think.
What?
the IFPW thing? Was that yesterday?
No, it was a couple days ago.
A couple days ago.
Yeah.
But then
Because
today,
I was searching around looking because whenever March Madness comes around, you have to go and look who's the best 3-point shooting teams and rebounding and scoring because that's what wins games.
And
in March.
if they have seniors.
Yeah. And I look at IFPW, I'm like, these guys can ball. They lost it at Dayton by 1, and Dayton's a quality A10 team.
And they're the mastodons. I mean, what else?
They lost to Illinois by 2. I mean, it's Illinois, but it's still a Big Ten team.
okay, but
Don't get me started with
them.
them. They are. I don't care if you go to Illinois. That team is trash.
Illinois.
They're complete trash. If they're an 8-9 seed, they'll get. If they happen to play someone like Florida State who doesn't deserve to be in it, they'll win the first, and then they'll get dropped by Kansas or someone number 1 seed.
Well, back to this
my rant
IFPW
on
thing.
them.
So you talked about him a couple days ago. Then he puts my Facebook, and then today I'm in Colben. And I walked past him and Billy too, and they're talking about IFPW.
I'm started. This is all me, baby.
Are we serious right now?
I have started the IFPW train, and it's coming at you in March. Get on board. It's going to be fun. My final 4, based on what the rankings are now. Florida,
you have
obviously.
to go off a bracket.
Huh?
You can't go off rankings.
Well, I'm looking at the rankings and what they've done this year, and how am I supposed to go off the bracket? It's not out yet.
The one I sent you. I do that every week. I just
Not
wait.
that
I sit at my
That one was
computer.
stupid.
I sit at my computer and just wait for it to come out.
He ranked Florida as a 3 seed. That's a joke.
Yeah, it might have been. It depends on when it was updated.
They're number 7 in the country. 3 seed.
Duke was a 16.
Good.
They were
I'll
the 1
take.
seed 2 weeks ago.
I was high on Iowa State, and then they got just drubbed by Kansas. Not drubbed, but they didn't look that great.
See, Kansas drubbed Kansas State too.
Yeah, they did.
Then
Kansas playing well.
Embiid, they're up by 25.
Embiid.
And then he elbows a guy in the face. They're up by 25
That's fine.
points.
He should go number 1 in the NBA
Florida,
just because his name's Embiid.
Syracuse, Arizona will always find a way to lose.
Yeah.
They will find a way to lose.
They're like a Pac-12.
Well, even
they're
though
like,
They're not like a Pac-12 team. They are a Pac-12 team.
they're like a Mountain West team.
Even though he's coaching football, Rich Rod is on campus, so his luck transfers over.
They'll find some way to lose. Probably in the Sweet 16 or maybe in the second round.
Anthony
Probably.
Bennett's having a great year for the Cavs, right?
I'll be quiet.
Syracuse. And oh man,
Villanova, you gotta do it. They've been playing solid, and they got
maybe Kentucky.
Kingston.
Kentucky. Julius Randle's so
No
good.
way.
What did you say again?
Maybe Kentucky.
No, they're too young, and they're
past the 4 teams or the 3 teams I just gave you. It's really up for grabs.
Yeah.
That's the way it's been the last 2 or 3 years. The tournament's just been so unpredictable.
It's so legit, though.
Dude,
I don't think
it's unbelievable.
I don't
It'd be a
think you
national
could
holiday.
I don't think you could put Calipari in one of the top 5 coaches in college
No.
basketball. I don't
For
think
recruiting.
he's a great recruiter, but how many of these Kentucky teams? I know the one with Wall was really good, and the one with the championship a few years ago.
I don't get why kids
he's got the
don't
best
see
talent
that.
every year.
I don't get why kids don't see that.
I don't know why what's in Kentucky? What are you going to Kentucky
they're,
for?
What, they're top 5 recruits?
Oh, yeah,
Was that
they're
the
probably getting paid.
top 5 recruits?
Yeah.
Look what they're doing.
Yeah.
They can't beat Arkansas. How are they going to beat a team like
Randall is really good. I agree with him. Randall is really good. The 2 Harrison twins. Every time I've watched them, I haven't been impressed.
Person.
I haven't been impressed at all by those guys.
The most legit thing about Kentucky is their uniforms and their Jordan shoes. The old retro.
That one guy's a shooter. That one guy's a great shooter, though. Who's the 4th guy they got there?
But they're freshmen.
James Young.
Yeah, that guy can shoot.
When they go out of
take him on the Bulls.
When they go out of Rupp Arena, they're gonna lose in the tournament. They'll lose just because they're on a neutral site.
Yeah.
They'll see fans in the fans not for Kentucky. In Louisville, it'll hurt that which we call it suspended.
I still think they're most.
He's gone. He's not suspended. He's gone.
Hancock or Buchanan?
Shane Bohannon's gone. He's in rehab.
What was the lineup that I still think their most
I
talented
should've
team was the one that was it the Final Four or Elite 8 they lost
With
when they had Wall and Cousins.
Oh yeah.
God, who else was on that team? It was Wall, Cousins, Terrence Jones,
Liggins.
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 Wall,
They
Cousins, and
won
Terrence
all,
Jones.
didn't they?
I was pulling. For
No,
that
they
team.
didn't. They lost to West Virginia because I'm pretty sure West Virginia made 23.
They beat Ohio State, didn't they?
No, they lost to West Virginia. Well, they might have beaten
I
Ohio
was.
State along
That's
the way.
the one. Well, other than I was rooting for them with Memphis too, because I liked Derrick Rose in college. But that was the other Calipari team I was pulling for. Because I like John Wall. I'm a big John Wall fan.
That team was legit.
But that was a legit team. I thought
No, it wasn't Liggins. Liggins was with Darius Miller, or is it Miller?
God, who was the line? There was one more NBA guy in that lineup. I can't remember who it was.
Every
Was it,
the starting 5 from Kentucky.
It was the
the
guy
NBA.
who's on Houston right now, I think.
No, yeah, it was Walt Cousins.
Well,
Not
Terrence
Terrence
Jones.
Jones. Not Terrence. I know Terrence, but it's somebody else.
Harrelson.
No.
He was on that team.
God, now this is gonna really bug me.
He was on that team, but I don't think he was in the starting lineup.
Beverly. Where'd he go to school?
Was he Arkansas? He was in camp with the
No.
Bulls a couple years ago.
Beverly was in Arkansas, was he?
But do you remember he was in camp with the Bulls,
Yeah,
Beverly? And
he
they
was good
just
though,
cut
so
him?
they got rid of him. Yeah.
He's good, so they got rid of him. Yeah, you're too good.
The best one they had AC Law.
He was good too. I liked him.
He was
when they had
legit,
him.
and they're like, oh,
Flip,
no,
Flip
we're gonna
Murray
cut
wasn't
you.
bad. Hakeem Wark wasn't bad that year.
They had the guy from Seton Hall.
Why did they get better at the end of the year? They traded Tyrus Thomas.
Daniel Orton.
Nah.
Yeah, no, but everyone was like, "Why did you come out when they drafted him?" Remember that?
Oh, Patrick Peterson.
That's who it was.
Yeah.
That's who it was.
Here we go. West Virginia 73, Kentucky 68. Kentucky was 35-3.
Yeah, the year after
Who
that,
did
picked
West
West Virginia to go to
Virginia
the Final
have?
Four, and they lost.
West
first
Virginia had Deshaun Butler, Devin
Pittsnogle?
Ebanks, Kevin Jones.
Ebanks, he played for the Lakers for a little while.
round. Yeah,
Remember he started that
he
game.
works. He works at a bank now.
I remember he
I
started.
think
Bum.
Just kidding.
Didn't-
full of jokes there today.
didn't Deshaun Butler tear his ACL or something in that game?
Does he play basketball? Then yeah, probably. Everyone who plays basketball does AC.
Yeah, my dad's a firm believer that basketball. If you play basketball and you play other sports, you're gonna get hurt.
My brother thinks. Well, he doesn't think. He says maybe it could be that because they're taking all that crap now and it's bad, like
Yeah,
for the body, something along the way.
yeah,
I mean,
true.
could happen, but
I have huge confidence in Florida now after this past week because they went on the road and beat Arkansas.
is Bill Walker playing or
Chris Walker?
Chris?
Not yet.
Who's Bill Walker? Wasn't there a Bill Walker?
Mhm. I
Kansas
mean,
State.
I
Kansas State.
mean, in the
State.
history
Then
of
he
the
played
world,
for
there
the
may have
Knicks.
been a Bill
Kansas
Then he played
Walker.
for the Knicks and fouled
Yeah, I
out
think
every.
so.
He fouled out every game.
Yeah, he probably
Okay.
untied someone's shoes.
But they went on the road, and without their leading scorer, they were able to beat Arkansas. Kentucky was
Florida could play on the road. There's teams.
It's their defense. That's
yeah,
what it is.
There's teams.
You would love Florida if you play them. They're like the Bulls.
Yeah, they are.
It's good. I didn't like Florida earlier, like 5-6 years ago, because they won everything.
I just didn't like Joakim Noah
I loved
in
it.
Florida.
Oh, of course you did, but
It was
I
awesome.
hated Joakim Noah. in
for someone who's a
Florida.
casual fan, like
As a
would you get
diehard
annoyed?
Florida Gator fan, between 2006 and 2009,
You
I
were
was
at
in
cloud
heaven.
nine.
I was there's nothing better. Football winning two, basketball winning two.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah, you had to be on cloud 9.
It was pretty
Florida
good.
football especially used to get me mad.
I've always liked Florida. They always shoot threes.
Yeah, they love them.
They love. They
Did you
love
see against
threes.
Eric Murphy going on
against
in
Georgia
junior
last
college.
night in like the last 2 minutes? They
I
did
didn't
like
watch
6
it,
in a
no.
row.
I had a game. I didn't watch Florida last night. I watched the Arkansas Kentucky.
Your
game.
favorite team of all time, it has to be up there, was the 04-05 Illini team. That's all they did.
Darren Williams and them.
Yeah,
yeah
and that's all
they were legit.
That's all they did was shoot threes, and all they did was
That game
win.
versus Arizona. Talk
That
about
was it.
find a way to
That was
lose.
That was
unreal.
one of the. Is that a top 5 March Madness game of all time?
Maybe number one.
For me, number one probably.
Might
Yeah,
be.
That was-
that's.
I remember. I don't know. I thought I told you this before. But
I don't know.
I
There's
was
some
watching
good
that
ones.
game. Me and my dad, and I think my mom. I can't remember if my mom went on this vacation, but we were in Tucson for spring training, and we were watching.
Do not
that-
tell me you were
we
at this game.
We
Were
were
you?
watching the game in a restaurant
No, it was
full,
in
full
Rosemont.
of Arizona fans.
Game was in
Like we were the only
Rosemont.
people rooting for
Where?
Illinois.
Rosemont.
The game was in.
Allstate
Yeah,
Arena.
the game
Was
was
it
in Allstate
really?
Arena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best thing that's
Wow.
ever happened.
Because
That's unbelievable. I did not know that.
Illinois was a number 1 seed, so they got to.
I don't know why, but back then I hated Illinois. And so my whole family's downstairs going nuts. I'm upstairs like, come on, Arizona, what are you doing?
Yeah, I could see. I could see you not liking
Luther
Illinois.
Head was my guy on that team. He was my favorite guy on that
I
team.
don't know why.
Back then, I couldn't stand Arizona. I hated their court.
Fry and Salim
Oh
Stoudemire.
my God! I
used to
could
really not like-
stand Arizona.
I was a bigger college basketball fan back then than I am now for whatever reason.
What's the other guy? When Chase Budinger was there, and they had another guy who was
Derek
there.
Williams.
Yeah, I liked him though. That was more new. There was
I
back,
knew he was going to kind of bust in the NBA though.
There was another guy that oh my God! Arizona did not.
I'm not a fan
go
of.
good
I,
with me.
it's not that I'm not a fan of him. I just don't think guys who like are tweener positions ever pan out.
Yeah.
Like those 3/4s don't really pan out. If you're
Chandler
like a 1,
Parsons.
if you're a 1/2, you don't pan out
You
unless
know
you
who
can
you-
really score.
Did you watch the Florida championship years? Did you watch their games?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Torian Green.
No, it was the white kid.
Humphreys.
Not Chris. It was Lee Humphrey.
Yeah. Oh my
Lee
God.
Humphrey. That should be
He
your
made
idol.
he made every three.
That
every
should be
three
your,
he took, he made.
I'm pretty sure he has the all-time NCAA tournament
He was
record for
legit.
threes.
Yeah, that's why I
so
started-
good.
I bought a pair of Florida shorts after that guy.
I have
was like,
a- I have-
I'm getting
Yeah.
a white pair of Florida shorts.
He was such a baller.
And I got my Gator Swamp shirt. Oh man, that team. Billy Donovan's my favorite coach.
I just don't like him because he kind of stiffed the Magic.
If I was,
It's not that he stepped in, but he knew what he wanted. He knew he realized he made a mistake and he wanted to come back.
He took a job and then he's like, okay, never mind.
It's not like he did it like within like a couple months.
Yeah.
He did it the next day.
Yeah.
if I had offers from every school,
So it's just not like he didn't really screw him over
Yeah.
because it was like he was a coach for like 17 hours.
Yeah, that's true.
besides North Carolina, if I had to go to one school, it'd be Florida.
Yeah.
If I got offers from anywhere, even I'd go to Florida
Well, of
or
course you're not gonna go to
Syracuse.
Duke.
Florida or
You
Syracuse.
could be offered by.
Have you ever
Syracuse,
been?
they
Have
play
you ever
zone-
been to
they play
Syracuse?
zone.
Have you ever been to Syracuse?
No.
I don't want to call anybody out if you're from Syracuse on the radio, but that town is
Really?
it's no good.
They play zone though.
The Carrier
I'd
Dome.
fit well.
Carrier Dome's a piece of garbage.
Is it really?
It's terrible. It's awful.
Mark, I went up to Milwaukee. Mark told me the Bradley Center was going to be a piece of garbage. I thought it was fine. It was just tiny.
I did not like that.
I like small basketball courts. I like when the fans like right on top.
Yeah,
of the court.
we sat in the second row upper deck there, and you are way closer to the floor than you are at the United Center. I mean, the
Yeah.
United Center's better, but
I sat in the seat. It was like I was at my grandma's house or something. It was like
I thought you were at your grandma's house. What?
the seats were all like ruggedy and like
I thought it was fine. It was a little tight, but I thought it was fine.
yeah. It's a good stadium for $1. I mean,
Here's a question
They
for
don't
you.
drop
Well,
people
from Marquette has to draw more than the Bucks.
just ask Eric.
There was
He's
like
a-
nobody
he's
in
a
the game.
Eric's a Marquette statistician, so he probably know.
Yeah.
Is your Tar Heels gonna make the tournament?
That's a tough.
Are they
that's a tough
NIT
question. We need to play someone who's ranked so we can get a win.
Well, you just
we
got-
have to stop playing all these
Didn't you-
bad schools.
Didn't you score like 30 or something against
I didn't.
Syracuse?
See, here's
Luckily, I worked that whole Saturday because I work Saturdays now. I have to work Saturdays, so that's like
That sucks.
right in the prime of
That's awful.
college
Actually,
basketball. It's
Yeah.
horrible.
Okay, I don't think we've ever asked him this.
I
and
know
I
I
know
have to
me
work
and you-
Saturday now too. Here.
I think we've ever
I
asked
can't
him this.
wait.
I know me and you have talked about this a lot. Who's a better program, Duke or North Carolina? See, okay, I know there's the Michael Jordan argument, and I agree that's the point for North Carolina.
I've never been a huge fan of either.
I'm not saying fan, but just like who's
well,
a better
that's
program?
what I'm saying. I've
Yeah.
never been a huge fan of either, so I don't really
Yeah.
pay attention to him or had paid attention to him.
I just feel like
You're not gonna hurt my feelings.
I
if you
just
say
feel like
Duke.
that.
I honestly would. I don't really see the separation between the two.
Really?
They kind of are the same to me.
I just there's always a year every 5 or 6 years or so where North Carolina's like, oh no, we might not make the tournament, or they're close to being.
Neither
on the
team is
But
that
see,
great
Duke,
this year.
Duke never has a year like that. Duke might not be number one every year, but they never have a year where they're like, oh no, we might not make the tournament.
But I
like,
could
they're
say the
always in
same.
the tournament.
North
Like,
Carolina
there's
never
no-
loses to
there's no
teams like
question.
Lehigh in the tournament.
Yeah,
Duke loses to Lehigh. They lost to.
I'll
who
give
was
you
the other
that. The
team?
Duke almost always makes the tournament, but they choke in the tournament so
Yeah.
hard.
North Carolina's more, I'd say, winning wise,
Yeah.
and their Carolina blue is oh my god.
Didn't Duke lose to
You
Illinois?
can't say colors a reason why.
I think it was like 3 years ago.
No, I don't think Duke lost to Illinois. If they lost to Illinois, that's
I could have
low.
sworn they did.
I thought
don't
they
think
played
so.
them.
No, they lost to VC. They lost. It was VCU's first.
I remember
win.
Illinois played them the year before they made it to the title game.
Who Eric
remember they played
Maynor?
Duke?
Who's Eric Maynor on? He was
VCU.
on VCU, right?
They beat Duke. Yeah, the year before Illinois made it to the title game, I remember they played Duke, and they lost in I think it was Sweet 16.
Well, Illinois made it to the title game. Who'd they play?
North Carolina. Yeah,
That's why
I
bought
did
my
not
wristband.
talk about teams I didn't like. I did
Well,
not
how
like
do you
the
not
North
like that,
Carolina team.
McCanson?
I didn't like McCann. He was so cocky.
Oh,
Well, I think that's not going to be any good in the NBA. And sure enough, he didn't do anything.
Yeah, their point guard. Was
And
very
their
good
best
on the-
player was that Sean May. and
Yeah, he didn't do anything either.
yeah, I know. I knew he was going to do nothing. either. But Felton was good.
Felton's
Yeah,
legit.
yeah.
Felton and Ty Lawson, and
Yeah.
Harrison Barnes. Those are like my three North Carolina guys.
Did you see your guys playing well for the Lakers now?
Yeah,
Kendall Marshall.
He doesn't do anything but pass though.
He had like 20 points there.
He like when you inbound the ball, he like throws it down the court just to get an assist. That's what he does. I mean, Zeller's got to be on his team for him to.
Do you
do
still
things,
think a
right?
couple years ago they got robbed of a championship because he got hurt? Remember that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I
People,
remember
I know you always say, well, injuries you got to play over, but injuries. I don't want to sound like it's an excuse, but it totally changed.
Yeah,
Like the
I
Bulls,
agree.
without Derrick
I
Rose.
don't want
is
to sound like an
different.
excuse, but it's an excuse.
It really is, though. Let's be honest.
I think in the NFL though, more than anything, you can't blame anything on injuries because
they
every
take
team is every team has
every team
injuries.
takes Adderall in that. But like if Drew Brees got hurt, let's be
Yeah.
honest, the Saints probably wouldn't be.
Well, they have a McCown, so they'd,
Yeah,
be, they'd
hey,
be just
there you
fine.
go.
They'd be just fine. Maybe even better off.
Yeah.
Get Drew Brees out of here.
Or if the Heat got if LeBron, God forbid, hurt his ACL, they wouldn't do anything.
Were you looking up this thing about Illinois? Or?
Yeah, my internet's not working, so
I don't
when
think Duke lost to Illinois.
Mike Woolf just
Oregon.
Do you think it was
walked in.
2004?
They almost lost to George Washington that
When
one
they
year.
played
Oh
Duke-
my God, that would have been amazing.
When they played
2004?
Duke, yeah, it was 04. But Mike Woolf just walked in, so we'll kind of get things organized for him to come on. When we come back, we're going to talk to Mike about his shot last night and some other things. So stay tuned here. This is Raising the Bar here on BenewEagles.com. We're back here on Raising the Bar here on BenewEagles.com. It's part of Benedictine Athletics. Luke Stanczyk here with Mark Rubel and Brendan Cadman, and our guest today, Mike Woolf from men's basketball. Mike, thanks for coming out with us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So, talk us through that shot last night. Team up by 2 with about 30 seconds left. You guys took all the clock all the way down, and you got yourself open in the corner.
Yeah, John threw it to me in the corner, and I was planning on using the whole shot clock, and then I looked to see where my guy was playing me, and he was, about 2 steps off of me, and I looked up at the shot clock. It was less than 10 seconds left. I said, we're probably not going to get a better shot than this anyway. So, usually in a spot like that, you tend to aim the ball, in a big spot like that. But I tried to just shoot my shot and let it fly. Unfortunately, it went in.
Yeah, I was saying, like, me and Vasco looked at each other during the game. Like, you're going to leave, of all people, leave wide open for 3 on the floor. They leave you open. I couldn't believe you got yourself that wide open.
Scouting reports.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just talking to Coach Bunks and Coach Kohler about it, and from their vantage point, it looked like a tough shot, and I guess they were saying, man, that was a nice shot, it was a tough shot, and I guess they just watched it on film, and yeah, I watched it with them, and the guy just completely turned his head.
Almost like that wasn't a tough shot.
No,
It's like a layup for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's, when you're in the gym by yourself, that's we work on corner threes a lot, and he didn't even try to get a hand up. I don't know if he was confused on what was going to happen or what. But, I'm just glad I had an open look. It made it a lot easier of a shot.
Yeah, that was a pretty hard-fought game, back and forth. A pretty physical game. I feel like most of the games you guys play this year have been pretty physical.
Yeah, and in a game like that, it's nice when the refs let you play a little bit. You know what I mean? When we were getting in the lane, there was some contact on both ends, but nobody wants to sit through a game where there's 20 fouls called in the half or whatever. So.
If you go to a Heat game with LeBron.
Yeah, exactly. So there was no flopping last night. It develops a flow to the game. It's fun to play in a game like that because there's not many stoppages. There's not much ticky-tack stuff. You got to go to the basket strong and earn it. So it's fun to play in a game like that. It was a physical game, but those are the games that I think you like to play in as a player.
You mentioned the shot clock thing. It's good to wait kind of to the end, but like you said, if you get that shot, and even if it's early in the shot clock, like at a late time in the game, if you have someone like you shooting it, I feel like that's a good shot. I mean, if it's someone obviously who can't don't shoot it, but if it's someone who's probably one of the best 3-point shooters, even if there's like in the teens in the shot, I still feel like that's a better shot than kind of waiting till the end and just hope you'll get a better shot.
Right? Yeah. A lot of times at the end of the shot clock, you kind of put yourself in a situation where you almost can't get a good shot. So. In that situation, I just figured, we're probably not going to get a better shot than this right now in this possession. So, especially since there was less than 10 seconds left, I just felt like it was a good time to shoot it because if I had, brought the ball back out or given it to John, that would have put us in a tough spot. So I figured it was probably the best look that we were going to get. So I just let it fly.
You see it every week with players who are in that position, and they don't want to take that shot. Are you one of the players that you feel comfortable in that position taking the last shot for your team?
Yeah, I mean, I've been there before. Coach Bunks is, he's put me in that position a lot before. So I guess I am, prepared to take that shot, I guess, because I've been there before. But I try, especially now as a senior, I know, some of the younger guys are I guess, looking for me to take that shot, and I try not to put any extra pressure on myself. I try to just think of it as a regular shot that I've taken hundreds of times. And, like I said, when you're in a big spot like that, you have a tendency to maybe aim the ball or force it or, push it towards the rim. But
comes with experience, too.
Yeah.
You take more and more of those.
Exactly. So, yeah, I just try to shoot my normal shot. Unfortunately, it went down.
You mentioned the young guys looking up to in a situation like that. Is that a role that you've taken on this year and really enjoyed, kind of being the senior captain, really taking the younger guys under your wing?
Yeah, with some of the younger guys getting a lot of minutes, Mike Blazik and Kane and Tehran, these are freshmen that are playing a lot of minutes, and I know at times they're scared, maybe not scared, but hesitant to maybe speak up, and so they need some guys out there that are willing to voice their opinions, I guess, and get guys in the right spot. And usually, that's not really my role. It hasn't been in my first 2 years here, but this year, it's kind of a need for us, I guess, is for me to be more vocal. So I'm trying to do that, and I'm trying to get guys in the right spots, and I'm just trying to help the team. You're
saying you're taking on a new role, being a senior. How would you say your game has grown from freshman year to now being a senior leader?
I think I'm seeing the game as a whole. It's kind of hard to explain, but in my first year here and even parts of the last year, defensively you're so focused on not letting your guy score, not letting your guy do what he's trying to do. But now I really see the floor, especially on the defensive end as a whole. You know what I mean? I understand where I need to be in case one of my teammates gets beat or just different things like that, and you start seeing the game less as an individual and more as a teammate, and it's good in that sense. I think I've gotten better at, I feel like I've always been, fairly unselfish, but, this year I've tried to make the extra pass a lot and get different guys involved, and, you see on our stat sheet, we've got 4 guys averaging double figures right now, and I think that's how we're going to be most successful. So each year I've just tried to just take on the different roles that coaches have asked of me and just do whatever I can to help us win.
What can you say about the I know this year is the first year with the conference play improving. You have, what, 20 games conference-wise?
Yeah, we play everybody twice. So
Can you talk about that compared to the other years where you're not playing those teams as much?
yeah, it's a lot more interesting. There's 20 conference games now, so it shortens up your non-conference season, obviously. But conference games are what you want to play. So you have a little less time to prepare for the conference season, but at the same time, you get right into the middle of things and right into the conference battle, and that's where you want to play the games because those are the games that matter. So that part of it is definitely more interesting, and then you get to play everybody at home and on the road. So there are different years when we've had to go up to Wisconsin and play a team, and they may have gotten the better of us, and you're saying, man, if only we had them at our place, it might be a different story, but now this year you get to play a team both places, at home and on the road. So that part of it is nice as well.
With the expanded conference, not conference, but more games, I think conference play really shows you what you are as a team, and it really brings out the best of your opponent. What would you say so far that your team excels at, and what do you think you guys could improve on?
Well, we're definitely, like I said, we're definitely a young team. We're asking our freshmen to do a lot. Kane's been asked to play a lot. He's starting right now. Mike Blazek, the same thing. Tehran, was asked to carry this team and lead us as our point guard as a freshman. That's hard. But I think we play as a team really well. And I think defensively that's getting better. It wasn't great at the first part of the year. I think a lot of guys were worried about what their man was doing instead of worried about playing defense as a team. But I feel like offensively throughout the whole year we've moved the ball really well. We've played as a team at that end of the floor, and most nights we really don't have one guy that kind of carries us offensively. Usually it's a team effort offensively, which is nice. And on the defensive end, we've got to get better at playing as a team and worrying less about what your guy's doing and seeing the floor as a whole.
Something I've noticed from watching you guys since really the new year is that you're looking a lot healthier out there. You're starting to cut to the basket a little bit more. So, did the break do you good? Because I know you were battling through a couple of nagging injuries to start the year. So did the break do you good? You feeling healthier?
Yeah, I probably didn't manage my off season as well as I should have. We kind of got right back into things as soon as the season ended, and then played in a tough summer league, 2 of them actually, and then came back for the fall and kind of got right back into things. So, I don't really feel like I had a junior and a senior season. I kind of feel like they've just been combined into one. And it's been a little rough on your body. You get nagging injuries that you don't really have time to rest. This week, for instance, we've got a game Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So, you got one day to practice, and even if it is a light day of practice, you're still on your feet. So those nagging injuries tend to hang around and stuff. But yeah, it was a good week of break, and I just tried to stay off my feet as much as possible and try and get my legs back under me.
Do you like those busy weeks as a player? I mean, I know it takes a lot of your body, but for me, at least, in my point of view, I love games. So, I mean, just competing 3 times a week, I'd love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially coming off of a game last night, where we got a big win on the road that we really needed. You're just looking forward to being back on the floor again. So to have a quick turnaround, to be able to go out there and carry some momentum into Thursday, I feel like our energy is going to be really good tomorrow coming off a win like that. And hopefully, it allows you to get on a little bit of a roll because you can keep carrying that momentum from game to game because you don't have a big layoff. So, on one hand, you wanna have practice time because there are things we need to work on, but on the other hand, you want to compete and you want to get back out on the floor.
Also, they talk about the less amount of practice time. What do you tell the freshmen kind of who don't have all that practice time and they kind of just got to adjust on the fly like that?
Yeah, we try to talk during games as much as possible. Those can be great teaching points, so it kind of sticks in a guy's head. If I see something that maybe could be changed or done differently, I try and let a guy know as soon as I can in the game so that maybe it sticks in his memory. But watching film is really important. That's something that Coach Kohler is big on, and some practices will watch an hour of film, and that's really a great way to get better because film doesn't lie, and you can see what you were doing right and wrong, and there's really no argument in it. The film won't lie to you. So that's a great way to get better as well.
You were talking about how you guys are playing better as a team and stressing the importance of practice. How competitive are your practices during the season and even in the preseason? And do you feel that helps you as the season goes on?
Yeah, that's something that Coach Kohler really stresses is competing hard in practice every day. And I really think especially our point guards, John Dotson and Tehran, really went at each other before the season started and even going into the season. And that was something that Tehran needed because Tehran, was going to be coming in, and as a freshman, he was going to be our starting point guard, and he wasn't used to the college level of play, and it is different. The guys are bigger, they're faster, they're stronger, so he needed John to go full speed against him and get him better, and they're both better because of it. They handle pressure a lot better now, and they're used to going full speed, and it's like that at every position. I tell Kevin Rollins this all the time. A lot of times it's harder for me to score in practice than it is for me to score in games because Kevin's going so hard on me in practice, and that just makes me a better player. Everybody benefits when guys are competing and going hard in practice.
Kevin's a good defender too, so it's not real easy to score in a matchup like him. But what do you guys expect to see from Dominican tomorrow night? A team that's pretty struggled all year, but it seems like they got a couple of players back that are pretty important to that team. So what do you expect to see from them tomorrow?
Yeah, they're every year that I've been here, they've given us a tough matchup, and they always seem to play their best game of the year against us. And they've got some upperclassmen in Harris and Daru that have come back, and they've been really big pieces for them. So, I know they've been playing better of late. So, hopefully on our home floor and carrying some momentum from yesterday, we can get a big conference win. We
have a text question here for you from someone in the athletic department. Text us in. Wants to know where you're doing an internship this summer and who is the best boss that you have.
Well, I'm doing an internship this spring with the athletics department with Jessica Stedman, who I've worked with before, and she is by far the best boss I've ever had in my life.
What do you know? You guessed who the texter was.
Oh, it was Jess? No way.
Yeah, of course.
Wow.
And another thing, we had your buddy Alex on the show last time.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask this next, yeah.
Yeah, so in a one-on-one game, who would win between you two?
Well, what did Alex say first?
Well, what do you think Alex said?
Well, Alex is a heck of a defender, so I'd probably, we've played one-on-one before, and usually I end up just going to the post against him because I don't even want to put the ball down in front of him. But, Alex's jump shot can struggle at times, so, if I give him a step and make him shoot from the outside, I think it'd be a pretty good game.
Back it in.
Yeah.
We're talking some trash here, dude.
What we had a question about the coaches. What we say? We had some.
Oh yeah, who did Alex say? We asked Alex if all the coaches had like a one-on-one tournament in the whole school, who would win? And I think he said it would either be
Coach Gillespie.
Was it Coach? He said Coach Kohler or Coach Gillespie. I think it's who he said.
That'd be tough. I mean, Coach Gillespie, is a D1 basketball player, but Coach Kohler, man, that dude is in crazy shape.
Yeah.
So that'd probably be a good one-on-one matchup.
That'd be awesome. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I know Mark wanted to organize a tournament in the athletic department.
We should talk to Jess about that.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome. I mean, it's something you don't see every. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's for them.
Do it for charity or something.
That'd be a trash talk between all of them.
Yeah.
Maybe
we should get that going. We should mention that. I'm sure Jess is listening. If you think that's a good idea, let's have a coaches one-on-one tournament. Whoever wants to join, and we'll do it for charity or something. We could maybe we can get in that too, shoot some threes.
We could do a pre and
I ain't gonna get in that. I'll get dropped.
We could announce it. We could do the.
We could announce courtside.
Yeah,
why not? Have Vasco come down. It'll be like the master of ceremonies.
We could do the PA.
Yeah, we'll do the PA. Yeah.
Or ref.
Yeah, we might need a couple of refs for that too.
I'd ref that. You'd ref. No, you will. You'd let everything go.
But another thing with Alex, we talked about when he was on. I know Alex is a big gamer. So any epic video game battles you guys have in the apartment?
We're kind of into the different. It's funny because Alex, you'd think as a basketball player that maybe he would watch sports.
Oh yeah, he's not a sports guy.
He's really not, and I think he's gotten better at that. Because I've told him, I learn a lot about playing from just watching.
Yeah.
And so he's gotten better at that, but even with video games, he plays no sports video games. He plays Call of Duty and Halo and stuff like that, which I'm not really into. Shooting games are not my thing. I'm it's usually pretty embarrassing. So I stick
I'm
to
with you on that
I
one.
agree.
Yeah.
I stick to like NHL 14, MLB The Show, NBA 2K. So whenever he decides to step into the sports gaming world, then maybe we can start going head to head.
Do you have your student athlete question here? Maybe we can ask him.
I don't
You got
have it.
practice
Yeah,
today, Mike?
I think he's.
Yeah, we do.
done
After the girls' game, because guys have night class and stuff, we're gonna practice.
Oh, at night. Wow, late one.
Yeah.
Question on that one. Do you prefer? Is there a practice time that you prefer personally?
It's hard
Some
after.
people don't like either way. Is
I'm
it
guessing
early
it's
or
not
late?
the 6 a.m. Friday.
No, but I would rather have it earlier than later. After like at 9 o'clock tonight, guys are gonna have class and work, and that's a long day. And then to go to practice, sometimes you can't get the most out of guys, and it seems like the earlier we go, the better effort we get from guys.
And plus, you got the a lot of you guys the morning classes. Got the 8
Exactly.
a.m. You got to wake up
Exactly.
for. I remember from playing baseball. I used to not like when we used to practice at night, especially during basketball season. We'd always have to practice in the gym after the basketball game.
Right. Yeah. I mean, late nights like that are rough, especially because we had class today, and then guys will have class again tomorrow and work and stuff. So night practices are tough, but we really don't have much of an option right now. Guys have class, and there's a girls' game tonight, and there's night class to work around. So we don't really have much of a choice.
You had the question you wanted to pull up?
He already took it. He was on it last
Take it
time.
again. Why not?
I gotta bring it up. Ask him another question.
Brandon, you got anything? You got yours?
I got one. What do you think about that Dang trade? Because I know you're a big
Yeah.
Bulls fan.
Yeah, that was that one still stings, and Luol Deng is probably my second favorite Bull of all time, behind Ben Gordon, of course.
Ooh, that a boy! Oh my God.
Being a scorer, I can see that.
I love
Yeah,
Ben Gordon.
but that was tough, and I know Coach Thibs was obviously really unhappy with it, and I'm sure he didn't voice off like he probably could have, but that was his guy, and it's not hard to see why, from everything I've read about him, he does everything that he's asked, and you can see it on the floor, he's constantly guarding the other team's best perimeter player, he rebounds, he does all the little things that help you win. He's a good offensive player. He's solid, makes the open shots, and it's tough to see a guy like that go when he spent almost his whole career. Well, obviously not anymore, but you kind of imagine him retiring as a Bull. He's been here 9+ years, and in the top 10 in Bulls franchise history in just about every statistical category. So it's tough to see a guy like that go, but at the same time, I guess management was kind of backed up against the wall and didn't really have much of a choice. We can't pay him what he's going to get in free agency, so I guess I can't blame either side.
Dang had a cousin on Northwestern, and the kid transferred after they traded Dang because he was upset about it.
I'm sure Northwestern wasn't too happy with him for that reasoning. But one more question for Mark's thing. So you're a big NBA guy. You're pretty familiar with the league. So if you had to compare yourself to any player in the NBA, which one would you pick?
Oh, that's funny that you asked.
Gordon Hayward, I would say.
Covered and Alex were actually, Covered and X were actually, I guess, talking about it on the sideline, and they threw out Manu Ginobili for me. So,
ooh, I can see that. I like that one.
Yeah, I could see Gordon Hayward too. I guess with the Ginobili thing, because I guess I'm, when I get in the lane, it's not like I'm going up and finishing over people. I kind of have to be a little craftier when I get in there, and usually when I get into the paint, I'm looking to pass first anyway. So
I think as you've evolved, I can see a little bit of Dang.
Yeah,
I can see a little bit of Dang.
Yeah, obviously it's the D3 version of all these guys. But
No, I bet you're probably better than some of them.
Yeah, no, I like.
You play more minutes than Eric Murphy can.
Yeah, I'm waiting for him to get some tick, but we'll see.
He get some tickets.
He will soon.
He's going to be in the D-League pretty soon, probably.
Yeah.
They
Right,
recalled Marcus Teague today. I'm not sure if you heard that one.
No, I did not. I'm not really sure
Bulls just
why.
got worse.
Yeah.
I have a guest survey. I know you probably already went through this with us one time, but we'll just redo it. I got a couple new questions. So, favorite holiday?
I know everybody likes to say Thanksgiving and stuff like that, but if you tell me your favorite holiday is anything other than Christmas, you're crazy.
I agree with you. Oh, no, I do have another favorite holiday. Me and Brendan just made this official about an hour ago. Selection Sunday.
That's fair
That's our
enough.
favorite
That's
holiday.
fair enough.
So, favorite vacation spot?
California. Me and Alex went there
That's why
this
you guys
summer.
visited Bickler, right?
Yeah, we did, and that was That was awesome. I'd love to go back to California. We're already trying to make plans to go back there. That was a lot of fun.
Bickler's he's big time out there. Open up a baseball
He
academy.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to go out there and check it out.
He a baseball guy?
He is now.
Yeah. Bickler's always got new projects up his sleeve, I guess. So.
Exactly.
Favorite sport other than basketball?
Baseball.
Cubs guy.
Yeah.
Favorite sport team?
Man, in the winter usually I say it's Bulls, and then in the summer when people ask me, I say it's the Cubs. But I think this is the first winter I've actually been able to admit that I'm probably more of a Cubs fan than a Bulls fan. As crazy as that sounds.
What do you guys think about your big acquisition?
Who's that?
Clark.
The mascot. Yeah, he's awesome.
Who's your favorite athlete?
I mean, yeah, the mascot. It was Luol Deng, but now that he's gone, I'd probably have to say either Jimmy Butler. I'm a big Jeff Samardzija fan as well.
Well, your brother who's listening probably just had a complete turn of emotions right there. Like his least favorite player of all time in the same swoop.
Favorite genre of music? And you're entering a music class with us, so.
Being around a basketball team, believe it or not, I hear a lot of rap, and
You'll hear.
I'm into that a little bit. I like alternative as well. Megan gets me to listen to country every once in a while, which is all right, but a little bit of everything, I guess.
By the way, congratulations. From what I understand, 2 years with with Megan
Alex
Steiner.
has been posting it on every social media available, so thanks to
Yeah,
him.
but I was telling him, I think nicest couple at Benedictine.
No.
Easily. Nicest
Thank
couple
you.
at Benedictine. So
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
Favorite restaurant?
Favorite restaurant? I'm a big Lou Malnati's fan. Their butter crust is awesome.
Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
There you go. Favorite board game?
Probably Monopoly.
You were
get
not
bored
a fan of that.
I get bored after 10 minutes.
Yeah, you got to set a time limit. That's
Yeah.
what me and my family always did. So you kind of have something to look forward to, I guess.
Favorite brand of clothing?
Probably Nike, I guess.
Favorite number, and you got a reason for it?
24. I wore number 12 all through high school, and then when I came here, that number was taken. So I asked my mom what number I should pick, and she said 24. And I asked her why. She said, that was her favorite number. So I asked her, well, what significance does it have? She says, I don't know. I just like number 24. So I picked it, and it just kind of stuck, I guess.
Favorite movie, or if you don't have one, just a genre?
The Dark Knight Rises.
Ooh, I like
that whole trilogy, really. But if I
Yeah.
had to pick one, it was the last one.
Favorite TV show?
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
You did a project on that TV show last
I
year.
did. I can't get enough of it. This season was not long enough. It flew by.
Favorite store?
Favorite store? I don't do much shopping. That's kind of hard. I go to the Nike outlet every once in a while. That's pretty cool.
That's a good one. Favorite candy?
Man.
I got a lot of them, sorry.
Yeah, I do. I actually sat down and made a list of my 24 favorite candies, and that
Ooh.
was even hard. But if I had
would
to
ask
pick
you to come
one,
share that with us. I'm
you're a
sure if I would
candy
have
guy.
known.
if I had to pick one, it would probably be. Right now, it's probably
Sour Patch.
Sour Patch,
Yeah,
but the
that's it.
watermelon, the all watermelon. I like that.
I
one.
thought Derek Rose was the one with the sweet tooth here.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I can't help-
Makes a list of 24 favorite candies.
I can't help myself.
Favorite cereal?
That's another tough one.
Candy.
Yeah, I just put Sour Patch in a bowl of milk.
Oh, God.
Man, that's tough. Probably Corn Pops.
Yeah, no,
I always like that.
Too blah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
man.
it's not crazy, but it's a solid cereal.
Favorite color?
Blue.
Favorite I did that. Favorite website?
That's tough. I guess the website I check the most is probably
Pretty depressing website you got right there.
Yeah, thanks guys. I forgot I was in the room with some Sox
You
fans.
guys get pictures of it.
You got a cuff fan
Clark.
right there.
Yeah.
And then dream car.
Dream car.
Then I'm done with the tough questions.
I'd like any car where somebody drives me around. Yeah.
Agreed. No, that's
That might be the best answer in history of Mark's survey.
Yeah.
A car where somebody drives me
that
around.
one or Tom Brown, Party City. That
was a good one too. That was a classic.
So I
His
can-
favorite store was Party City
Right.
because he liked to try on all the costumes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although if you
That's all I
remember
got.
Tom Brown, I'm sure you weren't surprised.
Yeah, that sounds about right with Tom.
But Mike, thanks for coming on. If you were going to talk basketball for the last half hour, so if you want to stay on, more welcome to. If not, it's fine.
First, I got to check with Jess, who I mentioned earlier, because I might be working with her. But I'll check, and yeah, thanks for having me on.
No problem.
Good luck to you and your team. rest of the
Thank you. I
season.
appreciate it, guys.
So that was Mike Woolf from Ben U Basketball. We're going to take a quick break. When we'll be back, we'll talk some NBA. We'll give our thoughts on the Dane trade. We haven't done that yet. So stay tuned here. This is Raising the Bar on BenUEagles.com.
Well, you can tell everybody. Yeah, you can tell everybody. Go ahead and tell everybody. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. I believe every lie that I ever told. Paid for every heart that I ever stole. I played my cards and I didn't fold. Well, it ain't that hard when you got sold. Somewhere I heard that life is a test. I've been through the worst, but I still give my best. God made my mold different from the rest. Then he broke that mold, so I know I'm blessed. Stand up now and face the sun. Won't hide my tail or turn and run. It's time to do what must be done. Be a king when kingdom comes. Well, you can tell everybody. Yeah, you can tell everybody. Go ahead and tell everybody. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. Well, you can tell everybody. Yeah, you can tell everybody. Go ahead and tell everybody. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. I got all the answers to your questions. I'll be the teacher, you could be the lesson. I'll be the preacher, you be the confession. I'll be the quick relief to all your stressing. It's a thin
Back here on Raising the Bar, Luke Stanczyk here with Mark Rubel and Brendan Cadman. I think Mike Woolf is going to come back because Jessica just came in here and told him he can stay, and he went looking for her. So might have Wolf come back in here in a minute. But we'll get into talking some basketball now. If you want to chime in, you can text in. You can text me at 630-697-5356.
Marky Mark 224-388-1076, and Wolf is back.
And Mark's going to have to give up the headset right away. And you can tweet in as well at RTB Radio Show. But yeah, Jess came in here looking for you. So
I'm kind of surprised she gave me the go-ahead, to be honest. But like I said,
maybe
she's
she is the
she
best
is.
boss.
She's the
yeah.
best boss in the world.
So we asked Wolf about it a little while ago. I know Mark had some strong opinions on the Dank trade. So why don't you start us off?
First of all, what did they get? I can't say that on air. First of all, I'm not one for tanking, and I know I could be called stupid or whatever. I just want to see him win. So right from the get-go, it's probably not a good decision to take my word for anything because I just want to see him win. And when you have a guy like Dang who gives it out like Noah, I'd rather see 5 guys like that. And you know what? I don't want to say not win a championship, but I'd rather see those 5 guys give it their all and play, and whatever happens, happens. Rather than say, oh, we're going to get rid of you to clear up space to get a superstar that which we've tried 3 times and we haven't gotten. So unless you're going to guarantee you can give me Love, Aldridge, or Melo, I don't see why you'd give up. I'd pay a couple million more just for Dang, someone who does everything except play through a spinal tap, which no one else would do. So, I mean, I don't think it was a good that's just me.
Yeah, I'm with you. You know, I think the whole point of the league is, to compete. And if you're setting a team out there on the floor that you don't expect to win, I don't think that's right. But at the same time, I understand that they had to get something for Lou before he left because obviously they weren't going to be able to bring him back. You're hoping to get something more, but
They just got to get that guy.
Exactly.
They can't just give people away
That's the
and say,
thing.
oh, we're
This is
going to maybe get
It's
him.
gut check time for Gar and Pax. I mean, you got it because you failed last time at this. You got it. You have to do it this time.
Well, it's hard to, sometimes I forget that it is a business, you know what I mean? And And, when Kirk was with us the first time and we moved him to clear his cap off the books to go after this, whatever free agent it was going to be, and then it ended up being Carlos Boozer. And, when it plays out like that, it's a little tougher to swallow.
You're saying you don't like Boozer?
No offense to Carlos Boozer, but a guy like Kirk Heinrich, is a guy that grew up wanting to play for the Bulls. He's a fan favorite, I think it's fair to say, and he's another guy like Noah and Dang, where every night Kirk gives you everything that he has.
And it's sad because he really, if Rosa, I mean, you can't say if Rosa they would have won it, but they would have had a great chance now with the emergence of Taj Gibson. Cause
absolutely.
As bad as Boozer is on defense, he does hold some value on offense, and that's a perfect combination of those two guys. One's defense, one offense.
Yeah,
and they both know their roles.
They do. My only problem with Boozer is that he doesn't really fit the Thibs mold that just about every other player on this roster does. And I think when one of your best players, doesn't really fit the mold of what every other guy, resembles and what your coach wants, that's tough. He doesn't play really hard. I know
doesn't make great decisions.
Yeah, and
dump the ball. You're a power forward.
And I think for I've heard a lot of I don't often post Facebook status, but I heard another national broadcaster the other day say I think Boozer unfairly takes a lot of the blame here in Chicago, but unless you watch him on a nightly basis, I don't think you can say that, because I know if you just happen to look in the box score the next day and you see Carlos Boozer had 18 and 10 or 20 and 10, whatever it was. That looks great, but how many points did he give up defensively?
Yeah.
How many loose balls were there that he just chose not to go after? And
Boozer's weird because if Boozer scores like 25 and 10, it feels like it's almost irrelevant because the Bulls usually don't win when he does that.
Right.
If a player like Zach Randolph or Aldridge or Griffin go out and get 25 and 10, that team's winning.
Right.
Like for Boozer, that just never seems to be the case.
Yeah, and I mean he has to. It's a disappointment when he doesn't make that kind of impact offensively, because he's not going to play hard at the defensive end of the floor. And that's my biggest problem with him is, it just doesn't seem like he has a real motor to him. And maybe that problem is magnified because he plays around guys like Dang and Gibson and Noah and Butler and Heinrich that play so hard every minute that they're on the floor. But, you watch the five guys out there on the floor, and usually there's one guy that sticks out that isn't playing very hard, and it's Carlos Boozer.
See, some of the stuff on offense he does is great. Like, he's got post moves that not probably 80% of the league has. But then he just compounds it by, if he'll take a bad shot, he just goes and pushes someone.
Right.
For no necessary reason. To get a rebound, he just thinks, I can push you out of the way.
He does that at least once or twice a game, where if he can't get to a rebound, he'll just two-handed shove somebody in the back.
Could say he doesn't think anything's wrong with it.
He leads the league in flat-footed rebounds. Almost every rebound he grabs is not. He doesn't even leave the ground to get it. It just happens to fall into his lap while he's still standing on the ground. Most of the time you can hear with the microphones underneath the basket, he's just yelling at somebody else to grab the ball. Grab it, Joe.
And him and Taj Gibson do this a lot. I don't know if they practice this in practice. Do they know how to set a screen? Because every time, there's at least 5 times a game they get called for an offensive a moving screen.
Yeah.
That should be easy. I mean, sometimes it's not always the big guy's fault. It's the guard's fault for not setting that up. But I mean, these guys do it more than any team I watch. And you're in the NBA getting paid all that money. You should know how to set a screen.
So I'm the biggest Taj Gibson fan in the world, you know that. But his problem has always been silly fouls.
And
he'll have games where he'll just commit a bunch of silly fouls.
And I disagree with most of those fouls, but he does tend to cry a little bit too much. He whines a little bit too much. But when he attacks the rim like that, he can whine all he wants. that guy is. I think he's now a starter in the NBA.
Oh, I think for the past this is Boozer's 4th year, right? So the past 3 years, you can argue that Boozer, he is what he is, but he was still probably better basketball player than Taj. But this year, I don't think there's any question.
Absolutely.
I think Taj is definitely been a better basketball player.
He's shown he can do a spin move, and is like,
his post moves are so much better than they were in the past.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing that's bothered me about Boozer is that he's kind of hampered the development of Taj a little bit.
Yeah.
But now at the end of the games this year, Thibs isn't just sticking with Boozer all the time. A lot
Taj.
of times at the end of games he's played Taj, which I love, and I think when a team is paying a guy that much, and I know Thibs isn't into all that, but you almost have the duty to play that guy at the end of the game when a guy's making money like Carlos Boozer. But I'm I think you need to just play whoever gives you the best chance to win. And in my opinion, it almost 9 times out of 10, Taj gives you a better chance to win at the end of games than Carlos Boozer does.
And a question I have for you: Who would you want Gar Forman to sign if he had to choose one guy? Like realistically,
Other guys who are out there, you
Yeah.
got Melo out there. Dang's gonna be out there, maybe.
Can they sign Dang back?
I don't know who else is
there.
gonna be out there. Top of
It's-
my head. Lance Stevenson's another guy that's been thrown around.
They said I heard Danny Granger on the radio the other day,
I don't
which
want
would be
him.
nice. As long as it's not Carmelo Anthony, I really don't have a problem with anybody else. I get ripped for this a lot, but I'm really not a Carmelo fan.
You don't think Thibodeau can get? I mean, they both got mutual respect.
I
but
mean,
you don't think-
if there was anybody that could, it would be Thibs. But
and when he plays with Noah, I mean, if you don't try and you're with Joakim Noah and Taj Gibson,
Yeah.
you basically can get
Yeah.
ripped out.
exactly, I don't know. I mean, it seems like he's been a cancer everywhere he's went. It
Yeah.
wasn't working out in Denver, so he basically forced their hand into moving him. It's not working. It hasn't been working out in New York, so it looks like he's trying to force their hand into moving him again. I just, I don't care for front runners, and I think that's what he is. When things are going well, he's feeling good and he's enjoying himself, and then when things start to go rough, it's get me out of here. And I don't know. I think it would be tougher to get him to buy in at the defensive end, and
be okay with sometimes not being the guy. If Rose somehow comes back, which
Yeah.
I don't, and that's something I get ripped. I don't think Rose is going to be.
the same.
I
Yeah.
think he's turned. I think he is now bought into the superstar kind of what's the word I'm
The
looking
image.
for? Yeah, image, that stereotype.
Yeah.
The superstar stereotype where he's not the special guy. So I mean, and if you do that, I'd move Butler to small forward and try to go get a shooting guard.
yeah.
I've always thought Butler's more of a small forward anyway.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, he's not. There isn't.
He's
in
a
the
tweener.
NBA
He's
game.
a tweener that worked out.
There isn't really all that much difference between a 2 and a 3
Yeah.
in the NBA. But
He can guard 2, 3, or 4.
yeah.
So that's
I
the
mean,
big
guard
thing
anybody on
there.
the floor.
Yeah.
So, he'll work out. He'll work out at other position. But I definitely think you can afford to have a little better score than Butler at the 2. That's
Another-
what they'll try and look at.
Another question: would you move Rose off the ball, or would you keep him point guard?
No,
Just
I
to
mean,
kind of get rid of those.
it's going to depend. I mean, it's going to depend on what he looks like when he comes back. But really, I mean, I don't think the 2 injuries had anything to do with him being a point guard. It was just 2 basketball plays that for whatever reason it was just kind of freak injuries both times. One time he just jumps up into the air and comes down, and no matter what position he's playing, he's going to do that. And the other one was just a
turn.
cut to the rim,
Yeah.
and he just planted his foot. So I don't know. I think it might be hard for him to play any other position than point guard, but he can definitely score well enough to do it. I think the roster makeup is going to depend a little bit. It's going to make a difference, but before where your whole team was, you were putting guys around where D Rose was. Now it might kind of be the other way around where we might have to work Rose into the fold a little bit depending on who we're able to bring in and things like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure who I would go after this offseason. I would at least sit down and talk to Melo. I mean, I don't know if I would pursue him, but I would at least sit down and talk to him, try and see where his head's at, because you said there are those concerns. But he's never been in, like he was saying, he's never been in a locker room like this,
Yeah.
where you have a coach like Tibbs and leaders like
And he did win at Syracuse.
Joakim.
I mean, I know it's college,
Yeah.
but Syracuse with Boeheim.
And they all said that when he played for Team USA, obviously they're winning games, and Team USA things were going well, but they said they were really surprised with his defense. Like all the
Yeah.
coaches talked about how well he played defensively and how that's been the knock on him. I mean, there's been no secret.
Well, if I was on the Knicks, I wouldn't want to play defense. I mean, that's a team that doesn't
Yeah.
play defense. I'm
Right.
not going to try to play defense. No one else is
I
going
mean,
to
you
try
look
to
at the
play
guys
defense.
on that team. I mean, Bargnani's maybe the worst defensive post player in the league the past 20
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
That you got J.R. Smith don't play no defense. So I mean,
Right.
there's a whole bunch of guys on the team that don't play.
You
no
don't play no anything.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
So
play.
it's really easy to look like a bad defender when you're surrounded by other bad defenders.
Yeah. But at the same time, I don't know if the Bulls are going to have the cap space to
Still, yeah, there's
Yeah.
still going to be some moves that need to
Exactly.
be
He's
made.
not going to accept less.
I mean,
money.
they're
That's one
talking
thing he's not
about
gonna do.
maybe having enough money to possibly bring Mirotic over, and then
Yeah.
maybe another role player. But I don't know. I think that's as upset as I was about the Dang trade, that's just another reason, because if
Yeah.
we kept him on the books, we would, there was no flexibility, and
Yeah.
somebody said on the radio we'd just kind of be stuck in neutral. And, I'm not for tanking, and I want to get out there and compete, but at the same time, being stuck in mediocrity
3-4 seed.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's a rough spot to be in where, if you're in a position that the Bulls are in where you're not going to have a ton of money to go out there and sign an impact player, well, then the only other option is to be in the lottery, and hopefully you can get an impact player there, but with how bad the East is this year, it doesn't look like that's going to be a possibility. So I don't know.
The Celtics just got worse. So
Yeah.
Bulls can trade pretty much everyone they have. You got Thibodeau coaching in this conference, you're making the playoffs.
Exactly.
They can put the four of us and some guys off the street, they make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Thibodeau coach.
for Noah, it's only. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if he and Gibson just tried. I don't know if this is possible, but tried even more just to kind of show Garforth like, you take my brother away from
I
me.
guarantee you that's what Thibodeau's doing.
Yeah.
Thibodeau's probably like, oh, you're going to trade my guy. Okay, watch me do this with this group. Like, I guarantee you he's motivated.
Well, I mean, Thibs is really, probably the only NBA coach that could turn this roster into a respectable NBA team right now because, no offense to some of our younger guys, but Marcus Teague has no right being on an NBA floor right now. DJ Augustine has been a role player.
Pretty good.
But he looks like an all-star with us, and Thibs he gets the most out of his guys, and even before he came, Dang and Noah were solid NBA guys, but he's turned both of them into all-stars, and Jimmy Butler's development under him, and he just seems to get the most out of his players.
He's a great back. I'd have him for next year backup.
DJ?
DJ.
Yeah, and I think, DJ's at a point in his career. I mean, he's 25, but he's on, his fourth team?
Yeah.
And he's a guy who's bounced around. He was pretty much out of the league after the Raptors cut him. So I think he's a guy who sees that he's got a good situation, and he might want to stay no matter how much he's getting paid.
I know he's
because he knows he'll have a stable job here as a backup point guard.
I know he's not Rose, but some of the moves he makes, like
Brendan's on his head. Well, of course he's not Derrick Rose.
the speed with the ball, though, he is almost as quick as
he's fast
with the
he's
with the
fast
ball.
guy.
It's when Heinrich's in there and when he gets it, it's a lot quicker.
Yeah,
and you could see some of the stuff they run is similar when Rose is in there and when. I mean, he's not obviously the same freak athlete.
Well,
but
the thing, people were talking about how big a loss it was when Nate left, but really, I think DJ Augustine's a better fit. He's a more under
Nate,
control Nate Robinson. Sometimes Nate would take a shot and you're just scratching your head, and DJ really never makes those plays. He can go get you 20, 25 points, but he's not going to take any shots that are questionable. And he's been a really good fit.
I think they miss. I think they miss Nate. They got DJ not as much. I think they really miss Bellinelli.
Absolutely.
They miss his. Dunleavy is a different type of player. He's a good player, different type of player. He's not really a guy who creates his own shot. Bellinelli is the guy who came out the bench. He can create his own shot.
Yeah,
they really miss that.
He could start. Dunleavy can't start. That's the difference between.
Dunleavy's a specialist.
Yeah.
Dunleavy's a shooter, and
he's been playing great though.
Yeah, he has been. He's been knocking down shots left and right. But at the same time, really the only offense you can run for him is running him off of screens and curls and things like that. But with Marco, you can run. A lot of times at the end of games,
he had the ball in his hand.
Exactly.
He had 3 or 4 buzzer beater shots.
Exactly, and putting him in pick and roll situations, letting him make plays for other guys, letting him shoot it.
He's leading the league in
he leads the league in 3-point field goal percentage.
Yeah, he's I was a big fan of Marco's because of all the different things that he could do. I know Dunleavy's a better shooter, but at the same time, this was a team that was put together to play around Derrick Rose, and
the one last year was put together to win without him.
Exactly.
That's the difference.
They were just trying to find the best spot-up shooter that they could, and, if you're just looking at that aspect of their games, Dunleavy, probably up to that point in their careers, Dunleavy was a better spot-up shooter, but, now with Rose gone, if we could do it all over again, you'd probably rather have Bellinelli back on your team.
I'd rather have Corver.
I feel bad for. I feel really bad for. I obviously feel really bad for Noah and Dang, but I feel really bad for Dunleavy because these guys never been on a good team, and he looked at the Bulls. With Derrick Rose coming back and everything, he probably figured, "Hey, this is my chance to finally win." Be on a team that has a chance to win a championship, and then it gets all taken away from him within a month.
Yeah, and he did, like Mark said, he did take less money to be here because, he thought this was going to be our year. He thought we were going to be a contender. Yeah. But, I was talking about this, when the whole D Rose thing happened. I called my buddy who I went to high school with, and is one of the few guys that I know is just as big a Bulls fan as I am, and we talked about it for a while, and it's crazy how, one day you're talking about how this is the Bulls' year and they're going to win a championship, and then, the next day you're talking about you're in a terrible.
It's more than though. They're really in trouble.
They are, and that's what I mean. I mean, you go from having anything less than a championship was probably going to be a disappointment this year, and now you're worried about, not just this year, but, what's going to happen for the next 3, 4, 5 years. They're really in a tough spot, and they don't have much room financially, and with the way the East is looking, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do much in the draft. I know they have those picks from the Cavs, and that Bobcats pick eventually, hopefully, we're able to get, but
I think you're going to get that
Tank
one
for
this year.
Jabari,
Yeah.
who averages 10 points in the ACC.
It's I don't know. They're in a tough spot, and it's just funny how, I mean, not funny. I guess it's more sad, but just how quickly things can turn. There was so much hope for this season, and then all of a sudden it's not only is this season lost, but who knows what our team is going to look like down the road.
And we're all talking about how it might be a good decision to quote unquote tank and sell off guys. That doesn't work all the time, because you look at the Bulls when they did that after the Jordan years. They did it, look how long it took them. It took them 6 years to make the playoffs again.
Yeah.
It took them a long time to build back up. So you really got to make the right moves after you do that. So the heat's on the guys in the front office. I kind of agree with the decision. I think it's time to kind of start over, because I don't want to be stuck in in mediocrity, as you said, but. They got to make the right moves.
Yeah, and
you don't want Thibodeau to slip away either, because he's a.
Yeah,
I know he plays guys too much, and we can bash him for that. But as far as coach that gets the most out of the guy, you don't want to who you gonna sign Avery Johnson.
Yeah.
Who's
I
out there?
love the only problem I have with Thibs is that I think he kind of runs his guys into the ground a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that the Derrick Rose injury or any injury really is related to him, but for the most part, these guys are relatively healthy, and, it seems like they always have nagging injuries. Kirk, for the past couple years, it always seems to be his calf is bothering him, and his Achilles is bothering him. Joe's had the plantar fasciitis. He's missed some games with a knee injury, and I don't know if it's just a coincidence or if it is Thibs or what, but I was listening on the radio the other day, and they were talking about, Jimmy Butler at the beginning of the year, last year, was hardly playing at all, and then in 3 straight games he played 48 minutes.
Yeah.
And the problem with Thibs, they were saying, is when he trusts a player, he plays him too much, but it takes him too long for him to get that trust in a player. So I don't know. They were saying Tony Snell should play more, but I was watching that game against the Bobcats, and Tony Snell got a start, and after the game I looked at the box score because I couldn't remember ever hearing Tony Snell's name. And, Tony Snell played 17 minutes and didn't record a point, a rebound, an assist, a steal, or a block. He played 17 minutes and did nothing. And, that puts Thibs in a tough spot. I know, the management and stuff wants to see a rebuilding phase or whatever. They want to see these younger guys develop. But how can you play a guy 17 minutes and he gives you nothing?
Yeah.
We got Cartier now, so we're good.
Yeah, Cartier Martin.
Cartier Keefe.
Hey, he came in his first game, had dropped how many points did he have? Like 15,
11.
16 points.
Yeah. I mean, any guy that can get their own shot and score on this team is a little bit of a breath of fresh air.
It's the Thibodeau factor. Guys bouncing around, comes here, first game, he goes off. It's the Thibodeau effect.
Yeah.
The team, they can try and Tibbs-proof this team all they want, and they're not going to be able to do it.
No.
You're actually the perfect person to have on about Korver. I'm a huge Korver fan. I've made it known.
Yeah.
We're kind of similar as you just want to shoot 3. I know you got more of a drive,
Right.
but shooting threes wise and from a defensive standpoint, they know that's what you want to do. So how in the world is he? I mean, he's what, 108 games?
Korver, yeah.
108 games with a 3.
I
When a
was-
defense knows that's the only thing Kyle Korver
Oh,
can
he's
do.
he's not on the floor to do anything else.
No,
That's funny.
and him strictly. He
Yeah.
is just strictly a 3-point. I mean, he shoots, but
It's
how,
fu-
I don't know,
it's-
I'm amazed at that.
It's funny that you say that because I was just talking about that the other day, and somebody said, "Well, who cares? Like that's his only job. That's what he's supposed to do." And I said, "Yeah, but everybody on the other team knows that that's the
Yeah.
only thing that he's supposed to do. For him to, not only get a clean look in 108 straight games, but to have that kind of consistency, it's incredible. It's obviously he's put a lot of work into his craft, because for him to make a 3 in that many straight games when everybody else on the floor knows that that's what he's out there to do is
and he's on the Hawks.
exactly.
And you would know, too, because it's, for 3-point shooters, Sure enough, they run him off screens and stuff a lot, but there's a lot of times where they're not running plays for him, and he has to get himself open. He's got to find the spot in the zone, and he's better than anyone in the game at doing that.
Yeah,
and he's in a small forward position where probably the best defender is going to be. I mean, on the Hawks, who's the best defender going to guard? I mean, who else are they going to guard?
Yeah,
Millsap's a big guy, so
you're not going to put a wing on Teague, would be the other guy. So,
and I think I hope this perception has passed a little bit, but I always hear a lot. There's no defense in the NBA, but really the game is set up for the offense to be successful.
Yeah.
There's a shortened shot clock, so there's more possessions, and there's defensive 3 seconds. So the game is really set up for the offense to score because it is about entertainment.
It's like
somewhat.
the NFL.
Exactly.
To score.
But these guys are the best athletes in the world, and you watch a game. I don't see many teams, maybe other than the Knicks, that just don't compete defensively. The Bulls play.
Well, yeah, I say watch. Everyone says that. Watch the Bulls. Tell me if they're.
And watch the playoffs.
Exactly.
Watch the playoffs.
But
tell me there's no defense.
But even when the Bulls have played, recently they played the Raptors and the Bobcats, and those teams are out there playing hard defense. And obviously the skill level isn't the same, but.
Even like Milwaukee, they play hard defense.
Exactly,
That's right.
exactly, and it's just a skill level difference. Obviously, the roster makeup and stuff, but I don't think there are many teams that go out there and just don't play hard on defense. It's just set up for the offense to score.
That's the number one argument, and I'm not trying to knock college basketball here, but that's the number one argument you hear with people who like college basketball more than the pros is a lot of them say defense. Well, when you watch, I've seen college games. The one that always sticks out to me is the championship game when it was Butler and UConn.
Yeah.
It's like teams shot like 11% from the floor. It's like that's not just because they're playing harder on defense. It's because it's not as good as the guys in the pros.
I mean, you're in the NBA. In that UConn Butler game, for instance. I mean, how many of those guys were good enough to end up going to play in the NBA?
Like a couple. I think it was just Kemba and Gordon Hayward.
Gordon Hayward, yeah. And I mean, in the NBA game, these guys they're incredible. They really are. And Alex, I was talking to Alex, and he was at a Bulls game this season, and he was down on.
You pay him $100.
He was down close to the court, and I think he said he was like 8 or 9 rows up from the floor.
They look huge.
And
from that
exactly,
angle.
that's really the only way that you can appreciate how fast they are, how skilled they are. And I've been to college games. Northwestern's right up the road, so I've seen them play Big Ten games. Yeah, and that's it's great to go see a game like that. But when you go watch an NBA game, it doesn't even compare. It's so much different.
You're a huge Northwestern fan, right?
I am. They
You're
got a
big
happy
win.
about the win. Yeah.
big win against Illinois the other day. I think that was more on Illinois' poor shooting than us. But Northwestern had lost their last 3 games by 20+ points. But we'll take it. That was a good win.
A little bit of a dark era for you right now. I mean, you got to be pretty promising after the past couple of years. Really, almost made the tournament, but it didn't look like it's very good this year.
Yeah, no, they've taken a couple steps. They were right on the verge, with Sherna, and then he graduated, and they took a step back last year. And hopefully once Chris Collins is able to get his recruiting classes in here, it'll turn around. But we'll see.
I think he'll be a good coach. One thing I was watching, the Wizards, they played last, right? They impressed me. For once, I could say the Wizards actually impressed me. They looked like they knew what they were doing on offense, and they weren't just.
You can argue they're the
Wizards.
third best team in the East. I mean, you can argue anyone's third
I'd
best
put
team.
I'd put the Raptors there, just because I think they have more kind of skill and. For
Especially
some
if they
reason,
would've
I like Kyle Lowry. I've always been.
Especially
a
if
fan
they
of
would
him,
have hung
so.
on to Rudy Gay too. I mean, it would have been really different.
They've actually been better. So, I can't believe it, but they've been better without Rudy Gay.
Kyle Lowry's really balling.
See, I've always felt that way about Rudy Gay. Though. He's one of those guys where it's just, I kind of understand what you feel about Melo. I just don't. I don't see what everyone else sees in him. And like you said, it didn't surprise me at all if they got better when they traded him. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I'm with
He's
you
your
there.
typical small forward. I mean, you just stand. He'll give you defense and 15 points a night.
Yeah. I'm with you about the Wizards, though. I haven't been a big John Wall fan in the past, but he's really playing well this year.
And Brandon's got He could
shoot.
it.
Yeah.
All
He hit three or four- he hit
him,
three or four
Webster, and
threes in
Ariza.
He had 3 or 4 threes in that game. BL, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Like,
If you were watching that game from a distance, my brother pointed this out. Wall, Ariza, and Bradley Beal or Webster all look like the same people.
Yeah.
Ariza, because he's a little tough, but they all look like the same people. They do the same. They shoot. And Nene, who actually, I was like, I don't remember Nene. My brother said maybe because the injuries took a toll, but I don't remember Nene being that good. I mean, he threw Noah to the ground.
Yeah.
And dunked it. So throw Noah to the ground. And they got Gortat now.
Yeah,
So
that's a team that's had
that could-
talent. I'm not sure how good their coach is now, but I know the coaching feel like it's always been an issue with that team. They can't like settle down on a
Yeah.
coach.
I think every team in the East is benefiting from how bad the conference is too right now. I mean, the fact that we're talking about the Raptors and the Wizards not looking that bad, the Bobcats not looking that bad. I think it says something about how bad the East is. But I was listening to Jalen Rose talk about this the other day. He was saying maybe change up the playoff format so that it's not 8 teams from the West and 8 teams from the East. And I kind of find it hard to disagree. I mean, if the 11th team in the West can be, the 5th or 6th seed in the East, I'm not really sure
like
if I see how that's fair.
Every year isn't like that, though.
Yeah.
So it's just once every couple of years. People say about the NFL, too, change it.
Yeah.
But, it's just once every 5 or 6 years it happens.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Me and my brother talked about this during last night when they were playing the Wizards because Bulls Wizards. We were just our minds go off. So, what would you think? I know it's never going to happen and it's totally out there. If the NBA did just a fantasy draft, put everyone back. Maybe you keep one guy, but for ratings wise on ESPN, I think that would. I mean,
well,
and it would
you
get,
think about this once a year. I'm like, it's never going to happen.
But it
Stop
would,
thinking about
how
it.
much more even, balanced wise,
Yeah.
it would make the NBA. I mean, it sucked for teams like the Heat who've.
Well, the Bulls
Contracts
could
and
use it
stuff,
right
it's
now.
never going to happen.
Yeah, it sucks for those teams who've built their
Yeah.
way like the. I mean, but
It would definitely even out the talent, and the Bulls.
it'd make it more fun to watch on a daily because you're watching an NBA game. You're like, okay, I know who's gonna win. Now you say you watch the Wizards and the Timberwolves. I mean,
Yeah.
anyone can win.
Well,
If
that's
they
why you have
announce-
NBA
every team-
2K14, my friend. Go ahead, do that.
I know that.
I mean, if they announced it today, Gar Foreman and John Paxson would probably go nuts. I mean, that the Bulls would
Oh,
be
they
a
had to throw a
perfect
party.
Yeah, exactly.
like you keep one guy, everyone gets their one guru they like.
Yeah. We're about out of time here, but Wolf, thanks for coming on.
Thanks
This
for
was fun.
having me again. I appreciate it.
Mark, Brennan.
It was fun,
Thanks, always.
Brendan. Sorry,
Brennan
Brendan.
really-
Kind of shut down.
Brennan, he
but
didn't want to talk
we,
at all.
we
We're
got
looking
on a
at
roll
him over
there.
here. He's not talking.
You guys are the NBA experts, so I just left it to you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's like with me with you guys for college basketball, so
Yeah.
same thing. But, yeah, we'll be back on Monday. We're going to do Mondays the rest of the semester, so be sure to tune in. And, Mike, again, thanks for coming out. Good luck on Thursday. Good luck Saturday as well. You guys got the conference leaders coming here on Saturday.
Yes,
so
sir.
that's another
It should
big
be a
game.
good one. Yep.
So thanks to everyone who tuned in. Thanks to Athletics for letting us use all the equipment as always. And you've listened to Raising the Bar here on BenuEagles.com.